Burgess at 724-302-5933. That's 724-302-5933. Or online at cranberrywealth.com and schedule your own complimentary visit today.
The following is paid for by Cranberry Wealth. Information on the program is intended to solely further the public's general knowledge about the product. Opinions expressed should not be relied upon for any purpose by any member of the audience. News Radio KDKA does not guarantee the accuracy of any of the information aired on the following program.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 6 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 7 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. Well, the fire that occurred at the Mather apartment building on 3rd Street in Morgan Township, Greene County, so massive it destroyed the entire building, and now the building will be demolished. That fire began around 3 o'clock Saturday morning. At least 3 people were taken to the hospital. 2 of them were airlifted. The building had 10 apartment units. The Jefferson Morgan School District said monetary donations and gift cards for those who were displaced are being accepted at the Jefferson Fire Hall, and donations also being accepted at the Greene County Salvation Army. A Wilkinsburg man is under arrest after police say he kidnapped, assaulted, and then stole a woman's vehicle. Police say 34-year-old Jermaine Turner went to a woman's house in Wilkinsburg on Tuesday night and refused to leave. Police said the next day when the two drove to a bank to withdraw money, the woman told employees to call police. That's when Turner allegedly fled the scene in the woman's car. Police found Turner Friday in the 7300 block of Monticello Street in Homewood. Turner is in the Allegheny County Jail awaiting a February 9th preliminary hearing. A woman was transported to the hospital for her injuries. Officials are warning people not to walk on the ice that's built up on Pittsburgh's 3 rivers. A number of people did just that, walking from the North Shore to Point State Park on the icy river on Saturday. 2 young children were also spotted on the ice. It's not illegal to walk on the ice, but it's risky, according to local meteorologists. First responders are also placed at risk if they are called to rescue someone who may have fallen through the ice and into the water. KDK Radio News Time is 7:03. We have the AccuWeather forecast next.
Larry Richard for CertaPro Painters. For more than a decade, I've been working with CertaPro Painters doing great work for me, and now is the time. Get a free estimate, get on the schedule at the right price. You never have to wonder what's next with CertaPro Painters. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in our community. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
Hi, I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, America's largest family law firm. During this time of year, difficult relationships sometimes become impossible. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
Pittsburgh and Cranberry Township. Joseph Cordell. Licensed in Missouri and Illinois only.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-885-8877. 800-885-8877. Again, that's 800-885-8877.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
There may still be a flurry around for the morning hours. Otherwise, clouds give way to some sun today with a high of 22. But tonight looks to be cloudy and rather cold with a low of just 4, followed by a mix of clouds and sun tomorrow and a high of 25, with Tuesday bringing even more clouds but less of a chill, high 30. For AccuWeather, I'm LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It's time to get greened. Doug Oster is here. All natural, no pesticides, no artificial ingredients. The Organic Gardener is on 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
Oh, it's a day of multitasking, doing all sorts of things here at KDKA Radio, but that's what I do. I'm a man of many hats, and I'll just continue to juggle and throw it to Doug, and he'll get you going. And then we've got an amazing guest for a couple of segments, but in case you're wondering, it's 7:06 in the AM, and it's still the frozen tundra here in western Pennsylvania as we go to air for hour number 3. It is 8 degrees above zero. So let's see if we can warm you up with a gift certificate from Sorgels if you're the 10th caller at 412-922-1020. And as you said, Mr. Oster, being that we are both Neanderthals, this is a throwback to the winters that we remember as kids.
1976 through 78. Those were some tough winters, and this certainly reminds me of those winters. My dad always said we lived out in the middle of nowhere, and he said as the winter progressed, the driveway got thinner and thinner, even though he was plowing. And that, my driveway, it's one vehicle up and down just barely. So if it makes you feel any better, Rob, my truck said 10 degrees this morning. So
Ooh, I'll take it.
I want to know what your drive was like home last Sunday.
2.5, and then Monday almost 3.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
crazy.
This is for real. Well, yes, our guest today is Charlie Nardozzi. He's the author of The Continuous Vegetable Garden. Charlie's been around forever. He's done radio and written and TV and all sorts of stuff, and the book is awesome. So we'll talk to him after the first break. And Groundhog Day. I don't know, what time did they decide that? Later, right? When it gets light?
That's tomorrow.
Oh, it is? Isn't it today?
I thought February 2nd.
Oh, is it?
maybe
Oh,
it's
okay.
today.
I thought it was today.
It just goes to show you how much I care about Phil. I'm freezing.
No, it's not that. It's that you're running around. You used to see he's running around from one studio to the other. He's actually physically juggling like those clubs. It's amazing. Well, whenever Groundhog Day is, we'll find out if it's going to be an easy end of the winter. And the deer in my garden are eating things that they've never eaten before. Junipers, which are like prickly, and inkberry, and I was watching a mother and 2 does, and the mother had dried oak leaves in her mouth. And I remember my neighbor when I first moved in almost 30 years ago. He has since passed, but he told me, he said, I put a big thing of leaves, oak leaves out there, and by the next spring, it was such a hard winter, the deer ate them up. And you can imagine there's no nutritional value in those leaves, but just something to have in your stomach. The birds are also hanging out at the bird feeder, and I have heard, even in this weather, more bird calls in the spring. We're about 6 weeks away from planting outside, so we're over the hump. We're getting there. I did want to talk a little bit, and I've probably talked about it a little bit during the winter. The advantage of gardeners feeding the birds, and I'm always feeding the birds as much as I can anyway. I have forged a little trail up there, and then also a trail out to the compost bin. But it took 4 or 5 walks on either one to make a trail to get to it. But when we're feeding the birds now, we're creating this foraging route that when they have their babies, and that's why we're hearing those calls now as spring, as the days get longer anyway, not spring, they're getting ready to mate, and so they are calling each other, and every day we will hear, as the days get longer, we'll hear more and more bird calls. But when they do have those babies, there's these insane data about how a pair of birds need thousands of caterpillars or insects to feed their young, and I've seen it, especially with Carolina wrens. They're not really afraid of people, and so they'll nest just about anywhere. They're the birds you usually see nesting in like hanging baskets and stuff like that. Well, I have always put a few little bird houses in the vegetable garden, and once they nest in there, once you see them nesting in there, they will not leave. Even if you're just sitting right there. And you can watch them, especially they love cabbage worms, and so they'll come down and feed on the cabbage worm and bring it up to the babies, and the babies will sing for their supper. It's just a great way to help us garden, and all we doing is just throwing bird seed out there now. I talk about this plant a lot. Tomorrow's Groundhog Day. Okay, well. I can't wait.
You think Punxsutawney Phil's going to get up this early on a Sunday?
That's true. We did it once before when it was on.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But I talk about Mexican sunflower a lot. And I usually grow the orange one, which is Torch. But I was looking through another seed catalog, Select Seeds, and I found one that I grow maybe every 10 years. It's another version. It's called Yellow Torch, and it grows just like the orange variety. Is 6 to 8 to 10 feet tall, depending on where you grow it. Only it has these really pretty yellow flowers. Of course, it is a pollinator magnet, whether it's orange or yellow. The pollinators just love it. It doesn't need anything from the gardener. It's an annual, a half-hardy annual, we call it, so we can take a little bit of frost. But it's a really wonderful plant, and I like to mix it up a little bit. I think... Actually, I was looking through my seeds and seeing what I had, what I needed before I ordered, and I do have the regular torch, so I'll probably plant the regular orange torch and yellow torch. And as I said, I usually give most of them away to people because they don't know much about the plant. But all you do is stick it in the ground; it just does its thing. I found a cool seed swap going on Saturday up north. It's at the Northland Library. It's called Sprout, Swap, and Share, Northland Community Library Seed Swap. Saturday, February 7th, 1:30 p.m. I put all the information at DougOster.com. You do need to register just so they know you're coming. You go at 1:30, you drop off your seeds. Then at 2 o'clock, everyone starts trading. These events are so much fun. If you know of other seed swaps, just let me know. Just go to DougOster.com, send me an email, and I will publicize them. Because I did see there was one somewhere that I missed. I saw it on Facebook. I'm going to be on Pittsburgh Today Live, upcoming on Tuesday, 9 a.m. I'm going to demonstrate how to plant microgreens, something for us to do inside on the windowsill, and I've got to do something. I got to have something growing. I just looked the other day. I've got some radish seeds sprouting right now, and so I can't wait because they're so fresh and nutritious and easy to do. So I'll be doing a video about that with the PTL crew on Tuesday morning. And this is probably the last couple of weeks I'll talk about the upcoming trip to Poland. It's starting to get filled up. I'm taking people to Poland to see the gardens and also to see the country in June. And we're seeing Warsaw, Krakow, all these other big cities, the Saxon Garden, the Botanical Garden at the University of Warsaw, these orchids, another botanical garden. Largest orchid collection in Poland, just 23 acres of garden. We're going to see everything in Poland. It's going to be awesome. All the information's at DougOster.com. And the thing about these trips is that we get a tour manager. We get somebody from there who meets us at the airport and is with us the entire trip and then sends us home and knows everything about what to do, where to eat, everything you could possibly imagine. And they're always awesome. And so take a look at that at DougOster.com, and hopefully you can come along.
Remember beer and pierogies, you'll be okay.
Okay, thanks for the tip.
And as Bobby Vinton used to say, Moja droge, ja cię kocham.
What does that mean?
I have no idea.
But he used to say it.
All the time in the song. Remember the song, The More That I Love You, his last #1 hit?
That one I don't remember.
That was the last one.
What was the biggest hit?
Oh,
Roses Are Red.
Oh, Blue Velvet.
Oh, Blue Velvet, too. That's a good one.
He was great.
Yes, he was great.
He was. Okay, what's on the other side of this break?
It's our friend Charlie Nardozzi. He is the author of The Continuous Vegetable Garden. We're going to talk all about that book and give us lots of ideas about planting and extending the season for as long as possible.
Back with more in just a moment. The Organic Gardener, Doug Oster, DougOster.com.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
News Radio, KDKA, Sports.
Sports brought to you by Coons Market with 8 locations to serve you. A Pittsburgh tradition. Pitt lost to Clemson 62-53. College hoops elsewhere in the region. WVU loses to Baylor 63-53. RMU and Purdue Fort Wayne. The Colonials lose 79-77. Pens have won their 6th straight. They defeated Mike Sullivan, their former coach, and the New York Rangers. The final was 6-5. Farmers Insurance Open. Justin Rose is running away with it. He is at 21 under and has a 6-shot lead heading into the 4th and final round. Alina Rybakina overpowered Arina Sabalenka to win the Australian Open. And your winner at the Australian Open is Carlos Alcaraz. And with the win, he becomes the youngest male tennis player to win a career Grand Slam. More sports at 937thefan.com.
This is Greg Trzynski of the Original Mattress Factory. Recently, the owner of a large mattress retailer was proudly sharing how over 65% of their queen mattress prices are $15.99 or higher. At the Original Mattress Factory, our focus is a little bit different. We build superior quality mattresses right here in town and do our best to save you as much money as possible. That's why at OMF, nearly 80% of our queen mattresses are lower than those prices others brag about. Stop in or check out originalmattress.com to learn more.
Customers often ask, what's the right mattress for me? At the Original Mattress Factory, our answer is always the same. It's all about personal preference. You should select the one that feels right to you because there isn't a one-mattress-fits-all solution. That's why we offer a selection of quality and comfort choices for every preference. And our sales team will help you find the right product for your specific needs. At the Original Mattress Factory, we have the right mattress for just about everyone. Stop by to find yours today.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The KDKA radio text line is driven by Kenny Ross Auto Group. Find your best deal and Pittsburgh's best warranty at kennyross.com.
The biggest reason Metropolitan Window Company has been in business since 1978 is our huge list of satisfied customers.
John, Maggie, and Justin Schmutzer here from Metropolitan Window Company, Pittsburgh's locally owned and family-operated window and door company for over 47 years.
When you choose Metropolitan Window Company, you're getting expertise and attention to detail from a trusted business that puts your needs first.
You're also getting our exclusive Infinity from Marvin 100% fiberglass windows that are built for life.
The most important part of a window is the framing. Fiberglass frames won't lose their dimensional integrity. They're the strongest, longest-lasting window you can buy.
And right now, you can save 20% and get 18-month no-interest financing on every window and door product we offer.
Stop by one of our showrooms, visit us at metropolitanwindows.com, or give us a call at 412-655-8411.
PA 1565.
Doug Oster tells you how to keep it green. The Organic Gardener is on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
I'm joined this morning by Charlie Nardozzi. He is the author of The Continuous Vegetable Garden, but he has done so much in the garden world, television, radio, writing, you name it. Good morning, Charlie, and welcome to the show. I love your book.
Thank you, Doug. Good morning. I'm glad to be here.
So first thing, dedicated to your mother, and she had to cook special for you, right?
Well, she did eventually. I became a vegetarian when I was in college, so it kind of shocked her. An Italian mother, it's like, what am I going to make you?
My wife's Italian and my son's a vegetarian too, so it was the same thing. So we have common ground there.
She did very well. She even tried tofu, recipes with tofu, so I give her a lot of credit.
So tell me about your introduction to gardening.
Well, it all started in Connecticut. My Italian grandparents had a farm there, and every time one of their 6 kids got married, they gave them a piece of land on the farm. So I grew up with all my aunts and uncles and relatives and cousins all going up and down the road with the farm in the backyard. And of course, the farm is what we would now call a diversified farm, but basically he was a poor Italian guy who immigrated here about 100 years ago, so he had a whole bunch of different things. chickens and cows and sheep and pigs and big gardens and apples and all kinds of things just to kind of make a living, right? And each one of our houses had a little garden behind it. My mother had a little vegetable garden there. And every spring, my grandfather would come up with his tractor and he would plow it and till it and get it all ready. And me and my brothers would pick all the stones out. And then my mom would come in with her transplants and her seeds and, of course, her bag of 10-10-10 fertilizer and the necessary pesticides that she usually does. And that's how I grew up growing vegetables. That's how I thought everything was done. Even when I went to the University of Vermont to get a degree in horticulture, they were still promoting that whole idea of tilling the soil and using chemicals in the soil. And it wasn't until the 70s and 80s when organic gardening really started coming along. And that's kind of where I jumped in and really got interested in that. And as you know, Doug, your ways of doing gardening and how you see gardening changes with time. And so the more I did organic gardening, I felt like, well, there's kind of another step here. And that's where I kind of got into no-dig gardening and then, of course, more ecological gardening. And in this case, what we call continuous vegetable gardening. So it continues to evolve. Maybe the next book would be another thing. Who knows?
So what made you write the continuous vegetable garden?
Well, when the publisher approached me with it, we started talking about it. It seemed very clear to me that I've been doing a lot of these things before, but I never really thought of them in putting them all together into one kind of system. And so it was very attractive to me to say, well, let's take a look at this as a holistic project and not just, oh, I do companion planting, oh, I do interplanting, or I do succession planting. But let's put it all together into a book that will actually help someone become a more ecologically friendly gardener, grow vegetables, herbs, and fruits so you don't get overwhelmed with too much of it and then none at all, and be able to have a fresh palette of fresh fruits, vegetables, and herbs for, depending on where you are in the country, it could be 12 months a year, but in my Zone 5 garden, it's probably about 8 months or so a year. So you have a continuous supply of fresh things coming in that you can use, and you do things that make the garden a lot easier to grow. So you do no-dig gardening in raised beds. You do the succession planting and the interplanting. You grow things like perennial vegetables or vegetables that will self-sow themselves. As ways to reduce the amount of work you're doing and garden in a more natural way that's mimicking what happens in nature.
In the book, Continuous Vegetable Garden, you tell people how to get started.
Yes, and it all starts with the soil. As you know, I did write a book 5 years ago called The Complete Guide to No-Dig Gardening, which is one that I refer to in this book, but I only have a small chapter on it because I really wanted to spend the time on all the different kind of gardening techniques. I kind of look at this book as like the sequel to the no-dig gardening book. Now that you got your soil all put together and your beds all set, this is how you'll be able to grow your vegetables, herbs, and fruits. So with the soil, of course, with no-dig gardening, the idea is not to turn, till, or disturb that soil because of the billions of microbes that are there, creating networks that help move water and nutrients and help your plants grow better. And what you'll do as far as how to build that garden is to mimic what happens in nature. So when leaves drop and they turn into compost, you're going to be doing the same kind of thing, adding organic matter every year, and then adding a little compost on top of that and literally planting right through it. And what this does is that not only do you have really healthy soil, you have less weeds because you're not turning the soil. And because the soil is so healthy, you can grow things closer together and more of them without having to worry about having to add extra fertilizer to get them to grow.
Well, we're on the same page there for sure, Charlie. That's the way I garden too. Maybe that's why I like the book so much. In Continuous Vegetable Garden, you start talking about perennial vegetables, and there's one in there I need to pick your brain about. Good King Henry spinach. I've got seeds for that, but I don't know really what it is or how it works. Tell me a little bit about it. I don't even know why I bought the seeds.
You like the name. Yes, so that whole chapter on perennial vegetables really takes people beyond the classic ones, which I call the asparagus and the rhubarb, which everyone knows if they're a gardener, and into the world of some of the other ones. And it's really just an introduction because there are lots of perennial vegetables out there that people are discovering and now are becoming available. Some of them are perennial kales and brassicas like that. Some of them you might be familiar with, like Jerusalem artichokes. But then there's things like sorrel, which is a perennial, grows down to 35 below zero, and good King Henry spinach, which is an old-fashioned green that's really not a spinach. It's a chenopodium. So it's in the quinoa family, lamb's quarters family, but it grows and it's able to survive the winters really well. And you get this green that, of course, when it's tender, you can probably eat it as a fresh green, but mostly during the growing season, you're probably going to saute it or steam it and use it like you would a spinach or a kale or some of those other greens. So yeah, I'm glad you got to see it. Give it a try. Let me know how you think.
The other thing in Continuous Vegetable Garden, you talk a lot about self-sowing, which I just loved reading about, and that's again something that is close to my heart too. Lettuce in particular.
Yeah, so that's something that I learned years ago. I have a couple radio shows in Vermont, and the one that I still do actually is a call-in show. Many years ago, when I was first starting out, this older gentleman called in and told me his technique for growing lettuce. And he says he goes out in March and sows the seed right on top of the snow. Just leaves it there. And then he swears that lettuce will germinate and grow at the perfect time, and he gets a great crop of lettuce. Of course, being a skeptical younger gardener, I didn't really believe him until I started trying it. And lo and behold, that's what happened. And it started me down that road of, well, what happens if you let your lettuce bolt instead of cutting it back like it's always recommended? And what you find is that lettuce will drop seed, even in a Zone 5 garden. And by fall, you'll have little baby lettuces that you can harvest. And then by the next spring, the seed that didn't germinate in the fall will germinate at the perfect time, because Mother Nature knows when the light and the moisture conditions and the temperatures are right. And so you get a free crop of lettuce without having to do a lot of work and guesswork about when to sow it. And it continues, again, the continuous vegetable garden, year after year, as long as you let the plants self-sow.
When we come back, I'm going to ask Charlie about some of his favorite edible weeds, including dandelions, plus much more. Stay tuned.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55, but unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Hearing the news every day is one thing. Hearing it hit home is something altogether different. That's the difference you hear every day on KDKA Radio. We go beyond the benign headlines and bring the news to life, your life. So stay here and hear the news and what a difference it makes. 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
It is 7 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 7:30. I'm Rob Taylor. A Washington County man was arrested as part of a 4-month multi-state investigation into drug trafficking. 53-year-old Archie Orson was arrested following a traffic stop on Route 18 in Burgettstown. Police say he had crack cocaine in his possession. Now, the arrest is part of a larger investigation into the distribution and trafficking of heroin, crack cocaine, and cocaine in Jefferson County in Ohio, in Mount Pleasant and North Fayette Townships in Washington County, and Robinson Township in Allegheny County. Orson is in the Washington County Jail. Well, about 20 Point Park students were displaced after a pipe burst inside a residence hall. It happened Saturday inside Lawrence Hall. Students have moved to different housing locations on campus. Officials are working to remedy that issue. A Wilkinsburg man is under arrest after police say he kidnapped, assaulted, and then stole a woman's vehicle. Police say 34-year-old Jermaine Turner went to a woman's house in Wilkinsburg on Tuesday night and refused to leave. The next day, police say when they drove to a bank to withdraw money, the woman told employees there to call police, and Turner allegedly fled the scene in the woman's car. Police found Turner on Friday in the 7300 block of Monticello Street in Homewood. Turner's now in the Allegheny County Jail awaiting a preliminary hearing scheduled for February 9th. That woman, she was transported to the hospital for her injuries. That fire had occurred at the Mather apartment building in Morgan Township, Greene County. It was so massive that it destroyed the entire building, and now the building must be demolished. That fire began around 3 o'clock Saturday morning at the building that's located on 3rd Street. At least 3 people had to be taken to the hospital. Now, the building had 10 apartment units. Jefferson Morgan School District says monetary donations and gift cards for those displaced are being accepted at the Jefferson Fire Hall. Also, donations being accepted at the Greene County Salvation Army. KDKA Radio News Time is 7:32. We have the AccuWeather forecast coming up.
Honey, I found the perfect place for my parents and us.
Where?
St. Barnabas. For us, the Woodlands Carriage Home Community. And for my parents, condominium-style living at the Village. My folks will love the Village. There's an indoor mall with shops, restaurants, and more. And we can relax, knowing they're safe and secure.
That's what I plan to do when we move to St. Barnabas. Relax.
Call 724-444-5568 or visit stbarnabascommunities.com.
The dead of winter is here, and if you need somewhere to go to brighten your day up, Sorgel's is a place to go. Hi, this is Randy Sorgel from Sorgel's in Wexford. After spending family time, we open on January 13th and are getting ready for the exciting spring. Visit our greenhouse, stocked with lush houseplants to brighten your living space. The Home Accents area is newly stocked, and of course, if you have little ones in your life, then our baby apparel is a must. Of course, there is so much to see with our fruit market, the bakery, the deli, hand-dipped ice cream, the wine shop, the gift barn, and our gluten-free store, Naturally Sorgel's. Arsenal Cider Tap House is open Wednesday through Sunday. Sorgel's, it's just the place to go for something to do. Right off I-79 Wexford exit, give us a call at 724-935-2090.
Let's go! You've still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is a message from your sponsor, Intuit TurboTax. This year, file your taxes with TurboTax and hand everything off to one of the thousands of experts who can get you filed online with 100% accuracy. Only available with TurboTax experts. Real-time updates only in the iOS mobile app.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
A flurry may linger into the morning hours of today. Otherwise, clouds give way to some sunshine with a high of 22. But clouds build back in for tonight with a low falling to just 4, followed by a blend of clouds and sun tomorrow and a high of 25. For Tuesday, expect more clouds around, but it won't be quite as cold with a high of 30. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, I'll catch you on Monday. Hope you're having a great weekend. Colin Dunlap, hopefully you survive through this weekend. It's bitter cold right now. Talk to you on Monday, 2 to 6, right here, KDK.
All right, Colin, looking forward to your return. Meantime, it's cold, 7 degrees above, and right now let's warm you up with another opportunity to win a gift certificate. This one to Janoski's in Clinton. If you're the 10th caller, 412-922-1020. Back to Doug.
Well, then in the book, you touched a nerve with me again when you mentioned dandelions, which are amazing.
Yes, I love dandelions. Another memory from my childhood, all my New York City relatives would come to the farm, and in the spring they would go into the fields and pick the chigoria. That's what they called it. And it refers to, in Italy, it's a chicory that they grow. And it's actually a different family of plants than what we have as the usual yellow flower dandelion we think of. The chicory has a blue flower to it, but the nice thing about chicory is that it's a perennial. So I have that growing in an unheated greenhouse and sometimes in the garden, depending on the winter. And it looks just like the regular dandelions, but it's more upright, so it's easier to harvest. It does get a little tough during the growing season, but it doesn't get very bitter. That's the key difference than the traditional dandelion. So you can harvest it in June, July, August, and as long as you're cooking it down, it's going to have a great flavor to it. And dandelions are great for you. They're one of those wild greens. I have a little section in the book about some wild greens: lamb's quarters, pigweed, dandelions, purslane, those kinds of plants that now you can find varieties for. There's a red-ribbed dandelion that I grow that's really an attractive one to have in the landscape.
People think you're crazy, though, when you talk about wanting dandelions, but as you and I both know, so there is a tradition there, and they are really good for you, and it's an acquired taste, but once you acquire it, it's amazing.
I personally like that flavor. So if it's something that you want to play around with cooking, nothing wrong with putting some olive oil in a pan with some garlic and some dandelion greens and a tomato or two, and you're all set, ready to go.
Charlie, I'm like Pavlov's dog when you say that.
Get you the bottle of wine and the Italian bread, too.
Oh, okay. I'm in. In the book, Continuous Vegetable Garden, you talk a lot about fruit, and there's one in particular I want to talk about because it's one that I'm really close to. Pawpaws. I love pawpaws, and have a little mini pawpaw festival here where I get people together so they can taste pawpaws. Talk a little bit about growing fruit and as being part of a continuous garden, and pawpaws in particular.
Yeah, so when we first moved to where we are now, about 18 years ago, I had a big vegetable garden. And now that garden has slowly evolved over time to include flowers and herbs and vines and shrubs and fruit too. And so I really encourage people to really look at their yard as the garden and not just a vegetable garden here, a flower garden here, a couple fruit trees there. Try to integrate them all together. And also when you're selecting them, even if you have a small yard, if you're selecting varieties that are dwarf and that are self-fertile, depending upon what kind of fruit you have, you can plant a whole variety of different kinds of fruit that will literally give you something fresh from the garden from May or so all the way up until November. So we start with the honeyberry bushes. I don't know if you grow those, Doug, but they're really, in the honeysuckle family, they're a really nice bush to grow. Small spirea kind of shape shrubs to them. Beautiful purple berries that have a little bit of a kind of a sour flavor to them, but they're great in shakes and for baking and cooking. And I freeze a lot of them, and that's what I've been making for breakfast is these fruit shakes with the honeyberries in them. So they start producing 2 weeks before strawberries. And then you go right through from strawberries to black raspberries and blackberries to blueberries to the plums and the cherries and the peaches and pears and apples, and then even things like pawpaws and persimmons, right? Some of these are a little unusual. Those are two native fruits, the pawpaw and the persimmon, the American persimmon. And what I love about it is that you're in the land of pawpaws, and we're kind of on the edge of it up here in northern Vermont, but we can grow them here. And I get fruit every year. And you do need a couple varieties to cross-pollinate them, but the trees themselves are beautiful. They're very tropical looking. They have long avocado-like leaves to them, and the fruits themselves look like clusters of mangoes. And they produce pretty well.
In the book, Continuous Vegetable Garden, I want to pick your brain about this. Indoor veggies. How do you do it? What kind of vegetables do you like to bring inside, and how do you get them to thrive over the winter?
Yeah, so you can bring a whole bunch of things indoors and keep them growing if you have a sunny window, for example. The classic ones, of course, are a lot of the herbs. Many of the herbs can come in. Parsley, for example, you can bring in cuttings or divisions of oregano and thyme and chives and things of those nature, those perennial herbs. We just put them in a window, and this time of year it's kind of slow. They're not really doing much, but in another few weeks or so, once you get into February, March, they'll really start growing. And they'll start growing really strongly, and you can start harvesting and using them. So that's really kind of a fun crop to have and to bring through the winter. In the book, I talk about, actually, I got these ideas from Jessica Walzer, your friend, and Savvy Gardening, their website, about how to overwinter peppers and tomatoes. So this is really kind of a fun thing. If you have a certain variety of pepper or tomato you really love, and maybe it's hard to find the seed, or you just want to get a jump on the season next year, you can literally overwinter these plants indoors, even in a northern climate, without lights or anything. So for the peppers, you're going to cut the plant way back, so it's those little V's, so it's only about 8 inches, 10 inches tall. You're going to clean up the root system, of course, repot it in a new pot with fresh potting soil, which is a good tip to tell people whenever they bring plants in, especially if they're growing in pots, is to repot them, because a lot of times that potting soil is going to be loaded with insects and diseases and things that'll thrive in your house. So if you get some fresh potting soil, clean the pot out, you're going to be in much better shape. So once you bring it in, you're just going to put it in a cool room, like a 50 degree or so, 50, 55 degree room, bright light, not direct sun. It'll just sit there and do nothing all winter. But then once the days start getting longer, it'll start leaping out, and then you'll have this mature pepper plant that you can actually bring back outside in May or so, depending on where you are in the country, and it'll produce fruit sooner. And the same thing happens with the tomato, but the tomato actually goes dormant. So you would do the same thing, cutting it back, cleaning it all up, pruning the roots, washing all the soil off of those roots, and then bundling it up like in an old T-shirt or something of that nature with some moist medium like a sawdust or something that you can keep the roots moist but not wet. And then wrap that up in a plastic bag and then put it in a 35 to 45 degree basement or a place where it just stays cold. Doesn't have to have any light, just leave it there. And then maybe a month before you're ready to start putting your tomatoes out, you bring it up in the sun, you repot it, and again, you'll have this mature plant that goes outside. It's going to produce fruit sooner, and it's going to be lovely in your garden to have these fresh tomatoes weeks before your neighbors have.
Charlie Nardozzi is the author of The Continuous Vegetable Garden. And Charlie, what's the best way to get the book and connect with you?
Well, you can go to my website, gardeningwithcharlie.com. It's gardeningwithcharlie.com. I have a book section there. All my books are there. And of course, right at the top is The Continuous Vegetable Garden. Certainly at your local bookstores or online, the book will be available starting February 3rd. So it'll be easy to find. And I'll be doing talks around the country. So look for me wherever you go. I might be doing a talk on it. I am doing a webinar on my website on February 10th, if you're interested in that, all about the Continuous Vegetable Garden.
And all that information will also be at DougOster.com, so you can connect with Charlie. Charlie, I want to thank you very much for being on the show this morning, and I love the book and love what you're doing, so thanks so much.
Well, thank you very much, Doug. It's great being here.
Charlie. Hey, Charlie could have been somebody.
In Vermont he was, and he in the snow.
But just so enthusiastic, these people, they really, I mean, you can get anybody at any time who's in your business. They always want to talk about gardening.
And any of these guests that we talk to, you can get all their information at DougOster.com and learn more about them. You could take Charlie's webinar. I like this during the winter when we can talk to different authors and different guests, whether it's Phipps or the Pittsburgh Botanic Garden or, as I said, an author. It's fun to talk to them and to see what they're into and see what they're doing. And if you're looking for something to do during the winter, there's still lots of great garden books out there, lots of great garden information. I'm itching to garden, Rob. I really am. I'm growing stuff on the windowsill. I was waiting for a guy at a box store. We were just meeting up for a Facebook Marketplace thing, and they had houseplants half price, and I was kind of looking at those, but I decided, you're not allowed to bring any more inside, so you better not buy one. But anything I could do to get my hands in the ground right now would be great, or even just to start some seeds. It's still too early to start tomato seeds. You might be able to get away with some peppers, but for me, it's too early. You got to keep you got to keep them going. In my case, I'd have to keep them growing inside until at least April, where I could put them into the unheated greenhouse, and normal people don't have that luxury. So we're still waiting to get started. But as I said, I'll be on Pittsburgh Today Live showing one great project. I'll be on Tuesday at 9 a.m. talking about how to do microgreens, and it's just all your leftover seeds, whatever it might be, radishes, beans, sunflowers, leafy greens. This is a great way to get something going. Great project, too, for kids and grandkids, and so I hope you'll watch. I love going on Pittsburgh Today Live. We have a lot of fun there. I've been part of that show since the beginning. I think it's 21 years now. I can't remember. It's been forever. You know all about forever.
I go back to Marie Torrey, Patrice King Brown, Johnny Burnett. Listen, I was the one kind of in the background going, hey, look, some TV stars. Listen. We were talking about Yvonne Zanos, Mary Robb, God bless them, Patrice, loved them all. Yep. They were so crucial in my career. Aviva Radbourne, who was the greatest producer.
Oh, Aviva, yeah. Yeah, all these people were so much fun to work with.
Stacy.
Yeah, Stacy I worked with not only at KDKA, but also at QED. Yeah, just all great people.
You still get to go down there, and I miss that place. I've been down there for over 10 years. I was there every day for like 25 years. I mean, 7 days a week. Showered there, slept there, lived there.
I wonder what that looks like upstairs. That used to be those radio studios.
I'm sure they're going to film some zombie movie there. I don't even know. Is anybody even on that floor?
I don't know. Was it second floor?
Second floor.
Yeah, I don't know. It was exciting for me when it first started, going in there and seeing all the radio stars.
Patty and Bill Burns.
Yeah.
Ray Tannehill. Good stuff. All right. My very first show, you know who I did on radio with? Remember Bill Curry? You don't remember Bill Curry.
That's before my time.
The Reverend sweet old Bill Curry. All right.
Hey, let's talk gardening when we come back.
All right. 866-391-1020. Back with Doug Oster. DougOster.com in just a moment.
When the weather turns bad, turn to us for the best news, weather, and traffic information from the KDKA Radio Storm Center. Presented by Duquesne Light Company, larger than light, and brought to you by Butler Transit Authority. Online and on the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA. News Radio, KDKA. Sports.
Sports brought to you by Coons Market with 8 locations to serve you, a Pittsburgh tradition. Pitt lost to Clemson 62-53 college hoops. Elsewhere in the region, WVU loses to Baylor 63-53. RMU and Purdue Fort Wayne, the Colonials lose 79-77. Pens have won their 6th straight. They defeated Mike Sullivan, their former coach, and the New York Rangers. The final was 6-5. Farmers Insurance Open, Justin Rose is running away with it. He is at 21 under and has a 6-shot lead heading into the 4th and final round. Alina Rybakino overpowered Arina Sabalenka to win the Australian Open. And your winner at the Australian Open is Carlos Alcaraz. And with the win, he becomes the youngest male tennis player to win a career Grand Slam. More sports at 937thefan.com.
This is Greg Trzynski of the Original Mattress Factory. Recently, the owner of a large mattress retailer was proudly sharing how over 65% of their queen mattress prices are $15.99 or higher. At the Original Mattress Factory, our focus is a little bit different. We build superior quality mattresses right here in town and do our best to save you as much money as possible. That's why at OMF, nearly 80% of our queen mattresses are lower than those prices others brag about. Stop in or check out originalmattress.com to learn more.
Customers often ask, what's the right mattress for me? At the Original Mattress Factory, our answer is always the same. It's all about personal preference. You should select the one that feels right to you because there isn't a one-mattress-fits-all solution. That's why we offer a selection of quality and comfort choices for every preference. And our sales team will help you find the right product for your specific needs. At the Original Mattress Factory, we have the right mattress for just about everyone. Stop by to find yours today.
Suffering from peripheral neuropathy? Learn how over 15,000 sufferers regained their comfort, mobility, and quality of life with Tri-State Neuropathy Center's successful treatment plan that is FDA cleared, non-invasive, and drug-free. Here's Sean Ritchie, DC, and Tri-State's founder, about one of their many satisfied patients.
One thing I like about having the most effective treatment protocol on the market for peripheral neuropathy is the stories that we hear. Like Karen from Export, she suffered with neuropathy for 3 years, and it got so bad that she couldn't even wear her normal shoes. In fact, she got rid of them and can only wear Skechers. After going through the program, now she's able to wear any shoes she wants, and she's very disappointed that she got rid of all her other shoes.
Tri-State Neuropathy Centers helped Karen. Let them help you next. Call 724-940-9000 for an initial free consultation. That's 724-940-9000. Tri-State Neuropathy Centers, the leader in treating peripheral neuropathy. Learn more at marydanston.com.
Straight Talk presents The Math of More. Here's how it works. When you say yes to more with Straight Talk, you're left with more for all the other good stuff. So getting an unlimited plan starting at just $25 a month equals more savings for your family's weekend adventures. And with a network covered by Verizon, you can share more from wherever you go. It's simple math, really. More equals more with Straight Talk. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. The $25 plan requires a compatible unlocked device and a new line of service. Additional terms apply.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage, no medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
Doug Oster tells you how to keep it green. The Organic Gardener is on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, being we took a little stroll down memory lane, we got to include Brenda Waters in that.
Oh, yeah. I'm telling you what, that's who I started working with on Saturday mornings during the news. They would bring me in, and we would do like an 8-minute segment on gardening, just sitting at a table with her. She is the kindest person. She bought me like 2 really nice gifts.
I know.
Like I was only working with her 8 minutes a week tops, and she, got to see her at Burnett's funeral too. I was happy to see that she's still working in Atlanta. She's awesome.
And the one thing they all have in common, they were really good at what they did.
That's for sure.
All right, here we go. William, North Hills for Doug Oster, DougOster.com. Hey, Bill.
Hey, guys, thank you. I'm looking, please, for an update on garlic and shallots. I know we had difficulty this past year. Is there any news in that regard for this year, please?
We don't know yet. We don't know what's going to happen. There's that, what is the pest? There's a new pest, and I can't bring it up in my head, but the idea is that we should cover those crops with something called a floating row cover in the spring as they're coming up so that the adult can't lay its eggs. And
okay.
So I had a tough year. Did you grow garlic last year?
No, we grow much more, far more shallots than we do garlic.
And they did okay?
No, maybe 1/10 of them survived.
And what was the problem? Do you know?
They just didn't come up, didn't grow. And I've never had that before.
Yeah.
Normally they grow through anything, and you have more than you can use.
And do you plant them in the fall or in the spring?
Usually I'll do half in the fall and half in the spring, but again, neither one was as productive as it should have been.
Well, I think also one of the factors here was that very, very wet spring we had last year. So it might not be a pest issue at all. And I think that's what happened to my garlic, was that it just got waterlogged. We'll see. But this year, I have a big, soft, raised bed, which is what I usually plant my garlic in, and we'll see how it goes. That's all we can do. How did shallots become one of your things that you really love to grow?
Well, frankly, we grew rather tired of garlic. It seems like we've had garlic overload in the country for a while.
What? And, I've never heard of such. This is heresy.
Yeah, I know it is coming from you, but we just really like the flavor of them. We use them
great.
in very many things, and It was just a disappointing year. I've never had anything like that.
One thing I would think, just to hedge your bet, and it's what I've done this year, is I'm doing some container growing of my garlic, and I've had some good success at that because it drains really well. I might think about getting a couple big containers, maybe like these inexpensive fabric pots.
Great idea.
Fill it up with a good planting mix, like a Coast of Maine, something like that, the good stuff, or bumper crop, whatever you can find, and then plant some in that, and that might that might help. I mean, I'm trying to grow these things as many different ways as I can. Gosh, I wish I could think of this new pest for garlic.
Yeah, I remember you telling us about it last year, and I can't remember the name either.
My old brain just can't bring it up. But there is one. As I said, for that, we're just supposed to cover them with a floating grow cover. Whether I do or not, I don't know. We'll see. But
I'll try the pot idea as well. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah, that's probably a way to go. How was your season in general last year, besides the shallots?
Sensational. I have some Italian tomatoes, the seeds of which came from Italy from a friend.
Nice.
And usually they don't mature because we don't have enough sun and a long enough season. But last year they were just plentiful and fabulous.
Oh, that sounds good. How would you explain them? What do they look like? What do they taste like?
They're large, irregularly shaped, very few seeds, rather dry inside. Basically, they were designed to be cooking tomatoes, but last year they were so sweet and good that we used them as slicers.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, hey, thanks so much for the call. We're out of time, and we will talk to you next week. Remember, organic gardeners, you make our world brighter and safer with each seed you sow and every garden you grow.
So what are you doing today?
I'm trying to get my snowblower running. I was down here yesterday talking to Andy. He said, start off trying to find a place that's warm. And my son said his garage gets about 45. I've got a little heater. I luckily it worked for the storm, but now it's not running, and so I'll try and get it running today. If not, I'm going to take it down to Andy, and his guy's going to go over it. The thing is, it takes 3 people to get it up into the truck. So
I know, but the thing you and I have in common, we're baby boomers. It's still gas powered. Where we love the smell of gasoline.
I don't love the smell. I hate the smell of gasoline. My dad worked at a gas station.
Oh, that's probably why.
And he said that he couldn't smell gas because he would just get used to the smell, and so he never could smell it. But I got some on one of my gloves, and I can't stand it. I'm going to have to wash the glove.
2 things, turpentine gas, it makes my day. All right, stay with us. So we got much more still to come, KDKA.
Oh, boy.
The Big K Morning Show with Larry Richards.
Time is now as people want to get their tax situation squared away. It's Cole, Benoni, Wilson.
So many changes. Even the tax professionals were double checking the rules. There's dozens. You're seeing them, like you said, on the federal and state by state adjustments, inflation updates.
Weekday mornings 5:30 to 10 on the Voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
Janoski's has been a family farm since 1958, and I've been telling you about this great family for over 30 years. The greenhouse, they have that Swiss chard available right now in the farm market. It's absolutely delicious. It's a nutritional powerhouse. It's super versatile, and it's mild but flavorful and low calorie, and we all like that, right? So Swiss chard, get to that farm market today when they open in minutes at 8. You're going to thank me. Your Pratt Pack, of course. Janoski's, Route 30 in Clinton.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
Italian subs for your finance team at Chicago. Easy Cater. Burritos for your call center crew in Plano. Easy Cater. Bagels for your sales reps meeting clients in Charlotte. Easy Cater. Hot chicken sandwiches for your third shift warehouse workers in Memphis. Easy Cater. Your teams may be spread out across the country, but you've got one platform to feed them all, whenever and wherever they work, with food they love from favorite restaurants. Easy Cater. Food for the workplace, all in one place. Order now at easycater.com.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
KDKA and KDKA FM HD2 Pittsburgh, W261AX Pittsburgh.
From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 7 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 8 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. A fire that occurred at the Mather apartment building in Morgan Township, Greene County was so massive it destroyed the entire building, and now the building must be demolished. That fire began around 3 o'clock Saturday morning at the building that sits on 3rd Street. At least 3 people were taken to the hospital. Building had 10 apartment units. Jefferson Morgan School District says monetary donations and gift cards for those who were displaced are being accepted at the Jefferson Fire Hall. Donations also being accepted at the Greene County Salvation Army. A Wilkinsburg man is under arrest after police say he kidnapped, assaulted, and then stole a woman's vehicle. Police say 34-year-old Jermaine Turner went to a woman's house in Wilkinsburg on Tuesday night and refused to leave. Police say the next day when they drove to a bank to withdraw money, the woman told employees to call police, and Turner allegedly fled the scene in the woman's car. Police found Turner on Friday in the 7300 block of Monticello Street. That's in Homewood. Turner's in the Allegheny County Jail awaiting a February 9th preliminary hearing. The woman was transported to the hospital for her injuries. A Washington County man was arrested as part of a 4-month multi-state investigation into drug trafficking. 53-year-old Archie Orison was arrested following a traffic stop on Route 18 in Burgettstown on Saturday. Police say he had crack cocaine in his possession. The arrest is part of a larger investigation into the distribution and trafficking of heroin, cocaine, and crack cocaine in Jefferson County and Ohio, Mount Pleasant and North Fayette Townships in Washington County, and Robinson Township in Allegheny County. Orson is in the Washington County Jail. About 20 Point Park students were displaced after a pipe burst inside a residence hall. It happened Saturday inside Lawrence Hall. The students have moved to different housing locations on campus while officials work to fix the issue. Well, the actor who was known as the Son in the 70s sitcom Sanford & Son has died. Here's CBS News correspondent Peter King.
Sanford & Son came from Norman Lear a year after All in the Family, and like that show, it was a huge hit and made Demond Wilson a star as Lamont Sanford, Red Fox's long-suffering son and partner in a junk business.
That's another thing I love about you, Pop, the concern that you feel for me. I love you, 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 I love you.
Sanford & Son had a 5-year run. Wilson later wrote several books, including a bittersweet memoir about his Sanford & Son years. His son says Demond Wilson died from prostate cancer. He was 79. Peter King, CBS News.
KDKA Radio News Time, almost 8:03. The AccuWeather forecast next.
Here's the latest from the KDKA Community Message Board.
Throughout Black History Month, the city of Pittsburgh celebrates the spirit and heroism of the Vachon family. Downtown, on Friday evening, February 6th, join a reception in the City County Building Grand Lobby. Schley Deck and Fence Company. Call today for an estimate on your rotten, rusted, paint chipping railings. Get your railings safe again by spring. Call 412-515-6575. Schley Deck and Fence. SchleyDeckCompany.com. PA 211 is a free confidential service available 24/7. If you're facing challenges with basic needs like food, insecurity, housing, or utility bills, help is just a phone call away. Dial 211 or PA211.org to connect with local resources today.
Details at KDKARadio.com.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
There may still be a flurry around for the morning hours. Otherwise, clouds give way to some sun today with a high of 22. But tonight looks to be cloudy and rather cold with a low of just 4, followed by a mix of clouds and sun tomorrow and a high of 25, with Tuesday bringing even more clouds but less of a chill, high 30. For AccuWeather, I'm LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
The following program is paid for by Coons Quality Market. This This is the Coons Cooking Hour. The crew from Coons Market are here. It's the great food you grew up with and the recipes that make Pittsburgh someplace special.
All right, Frankie and I have been hard at work since a little after 6. We did a bunch of commercials that you're going to hear starting this coming Wednesday. We have a giant 2-day sale that begins next Saturday and will run through Sunday, and it's perfect because of that big game that is a week away. And we'll tell you more about that as we move into the hour. But a 2-day sale, 7th and 8th, next weekend at Coons Market. But today, one of my favorites, because who doesn't like leftovers? And, you know, Doug and I were talking as he was leaving. Listen, growing up, when we grew up, you didn't leave anything for chance. If it could actually be reheated or just basically served cold and it had more than 2 days shelf life, it became a leftover. And one of my all-time favorites, and by the way, get on the line now, early and often, if you want to win that gift certificate and talk leftover recipes with us, 866-391-1020. My favorite to this day, meatloaf. Good morning, Frank.
Oh, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, you know, there's nothing, it always works out perfect when you can get some leftovers. Now you have your lunch for when you're going to work, or if you just not have to cook the next day. Or you can always have, you know, make a little bit extra and wait a couple of days. You can have it again, throw it in the freezer. I'm still using sauce that I made a couple months ago, it's in the freezer, and I just pull it out. I put them in, it's approximately a pound, 24-ounce, 32-ounce containers that I just pull out. It's a perfect portion, and you're ready to go, just popping it out, and it saves you a lot of time with it, and purposely doing leftovers saves you a lot of time in the future.
I got a lot of them here for you. Did a little homework, so you give me your thoughts. I'll throw these out. We want to hear from you. What are your favorite leftovers? Come on, let's go. 866-391-1020. Lasagna.
Yeah, lasagna. You can't make a small portion of lasagna. It's impossible.
Never.
Whether you're making it, and the other thing with leftovers too, if you have, someone who's can't be cooking, or if you have kids, or, needs to save some time, or just to be friendly, you take half of the lasagna and take it to them. If that's their reheating, they can reheat it at a different time and help out your neighbors as well.
So I'm listening to this comedian the other day, and he said, you know that you're trying to save your pennies and, be smart with your money when you're eating chili or soups out of a Cool Whip container. And I remember
that's a premium container.
Right. My mom used to get those containers and cottage cheese containers and fill them up with soup and other things, put them in the freezer, get them out, heat them up. And I'm telling you, in many cases, right back in that same container when they cooled off, because we didn't have microwaves back then, and we would eat right out of those, eat cereal out of those containers.
Well, eventually they were like upscale containers that didn't have brand name on, because you washed them so many times, the brands came off. Yeah, it came right off.
When he said that, man, I was like right with him. All right, stews and soups, great leftovers.
Yeah, of course, especially if you're doing for soups, if you're making just the broth, which is your base for pretty much any soups minus the cream soup. And anytime you make soup, you can't make, because some of this stuff is just really hard to make a small batch. And so utilizing the freezer, making sure you have space in the freezer and the right containers to put into the freezer to do that. With today's technology, a lot of these containers will freeze very well, like that sauce that I was talking about. I have it they're in glass containers with a sealed lid, and they can go, those kind of containers there, that because it's glass, it goes right into the oven. So, you can literally not even have to switch the container out if you don't want to, or you can put it under, like for me in the sauce, to get it out of the container, I leave it sealed. It doesn't leak, and you flip it over, put it underneath some water just to get it loosened up, and you can pop it in the pan and cook it right there from that frozen state.
Here's another one for you. Stir fries.
Stir fries. That one's a little bit tougher because a lot of times you have vegetables in it. That's a harder one to use as a leftover. Next day or something like that, yeah. But as you try to extend it or do it ahead, it doesn't work out as well. And stir fries are so quick. But again, it could be for the meat. So you had chicken the one day. Say you have grilled chicken breast. You can save that for stir fry the next day because you can stir fry your vegetables at the very end to put in your protein. And just to be able to heat it up.
All right, so the definition of leftovers is as follows. Leftovers are what happens when all the food that was prepared was not consumed, and there is uneaten food left after the meal is over. This can be on purpose or by accident. So basically, sometimes you just make too much, or maybe you're thinking ahead and you say, I can get 2 or 3 meals out of this.
Well, sometimes you're just picking up a rotisserie chicken and it's never eaten as a rotisserie chicken. It's 100% leftover, and you're using it for other things.
So I got a rotisserie chicken the other day when I was at McKnight, and I got to tell you, absolutely scrumptious.
Yeah, and don't forget that I always tell people and remind them, you buy 7 chickens, your 8th one's free as long as you're using your rewards card every single time you're purchasing it. So make sure you just always use a reward card, no matter what. You know, there's extra savings that are out there. There's digital coupons. If you go to coonsmarket.com, you can sign up and you can log right in and pick up, select your coupons you want to use. And when you go shopping, they just come right off. You don't have to go and, oops, I forgot them or this and that, as long as you have them clicked. You know, and those extra little specials will keep coming. And so always just make sure you use your card so that you get those extra specials, plus communication. You know, we have an extra deal coming out. We're going to send that to your email address on file, and you'll be able to see that where other people won't be able to see it unless they go in.
All right, so before we take some calls, we want you to get on the line to talk about all of your favorite leftovers, 866-391-1020. One of the things that we have as part of the 2-day sale next Saturday and Sunday, the 7th and 8th, it could be a leftover too. Hunt's Manwich Sloppy Joe sauce, 15 to 16-ounce cans, part of the 2-day sale. Big game weekend, 7th, 8th, next weekend, 4 for $5, Frank.
I'm stocking up. And in addition to that 4 for $5, there's also an additional coupon. So you buy those 4 for the $5, you're going to save an additional $2 on when you buy the ground beef.
That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, so on our ground beef's on sale, the 80% lean, $4.88 a pound. And so if you buy a pound of that, now you're paying $2.88 for a pound of ground meat plus 4 cans of Manwich. You know, it's a great savings, and there's no limit on that, so you can keep on going. You know, you're going to buy 3 pounds of ground beef. You're going to buy, 12 cans of Manwich. You're ready to go.
I like it. All right. Now, TGIF Fridays, we all remember, that was like when they came into the market, it was cool. But what I love some of these brands, they may not be as big a brand as they once were. There's a few scattered around here and there, but you can get those ever popular TGI Fridays appetizers, part of the 2-day sale, 8 to 11-ounce boxes, $2.99, Saturday and Sunday, February 7th and 8th. I love that stuff.
Yeah, you don't see the restaurants around. They're very spread out now. If there are, I don't know of any that are around here right now. And you can still get those appetizers, though. We carry them all the time. This is a good time to get them on a 2-day sale, $2.99.
You know what I tried one time and I never did it? Got some Italian bread, heated it up in the microwave. This was back during COVID. And I got some Philadelphia cream cheese because I didn't have any Land O'Lakes. Put some Philadelphia cream cheese on it. That bread, it was incredible.
I used to do that with egg McMuffins. I used to do that with English muffins all the time. Instead of putting butter on them, toasting just a little bit of cream cheese. You toast the muffin, and then you put the cream cheese on it.
My biggest weakness back when I was basically eating the floorboards during the pandemic, Einstein Brothers bagels.
So that's why you had to get that work done on your house.
Listen to me. I was eating the floors. Listen to me, Frank. I love Einstein Brothers. That's my favorite of all. I'm sorry, and I like making Isley's Chip Chopped Ham, Isley Brothers, but you can get Thomas Bagels at Coons Market, same thing. But I love using bagels as opposed to bread, traditional bread with everything. I like to dip into my sauce with a bagel. I like a meatball sandwich with bagels. I love bagels, man.
Oh, bagels got a nice chew to them. I should have tried it. Last week when we were stuck inside, I got I was one of those people that rush out and get everything I get. So I had Isley's chipped ham. We made ham barbecues.
Oh,
I should have put that on a nice bagel. Because it got that chew to it. I know there's a hole in the middle, but they're supposed to be messy.
And you know what I always do? Once you get it made, the hole in the middle, I always, whatever I'm using, I stuff a little bit more in that hole.
Yeah, there you go.
I love bagels. I'm not a big, sour cream, so-so, but peanut butter, bagel, love it, man. Strawberry jam, Land O'Lakes butter, bagel, love it. Toasted, but I actually like them untoasted too.
The bagels?
Yeah.
I like them untoasted better than toasted.
And I went through a phase where I had to have the raisin bagels all the time.
The cinnamon raisins.
Oh.
There's one that we have too, the French toast. That's really good.
That
French toast bagel is just that crispiness of the outside of the cinnamon sugar.
Now it's going to be tough to get through the day. Also, super low price. Listen to this 2-day sale, big game specials next Saturday, Sunday, 7th and 8th. All of your Coons Markets, Isley's chipped ham, incredible. Next Saturday, Sunday, $2.99. Buy a couple of pounds. All right, we're going to come back. We have all of those incredible people waiting, like Chuck, Kathy, John, and another Kathy. One's in Imperial, one's in Delmont. They want to talk leftovers, and we'll do it next on KDKA.
When you need to talk, we're here for you. Always have been. News Radio KDKA.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55, but unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Elevate your sleep experience with an adjustable bed and make everyday activities like reading, watching TV, and working in bed more comfortable. At the Original Mattress Factory, we know not all adjustable beds are created equal. You want one that has the features you actually need, like anti-snore and zero-gravity positions. We offer high-quality adjustable bases paired with a hand-built mattress, all at a factory direct value. And we have product in stock and ready when you are. Visit an OMF location to elevate your sleep experience today.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS? Whether it's due to job loss, a divorce, a new business venture, or you just didn't file your taxes, don't lose hope. Powerful relief programs are now available that can help you and may reduce or even eliminate what you owe the IRS. With the cost of living affecting millions across the country, Tax Relief Advocates is urgently notifying anyone with $5, $50, or even $500,000 in back taxes to the IRS to call to get relief options. With over 1,000 5-star Google reviews and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, TRA is America's trusted choice for real tax relief. Relief options are now available that can give you a fresh start and peace of mind. End your tax nightmare today by calling our tax relief hotline. Dial 800-390-8432. 800-390-8432. That's 800-390-8432. Or visit TRA.com. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The KDKA radio text line is driven by Kenny Ross Auto Group. Find your best deal and Pittsburgh's best warranty at kennyross.com.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
The diet can continue Monday. This is the Coons Cooking Hour on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
I could get me some of those bagels at Coons, and I could do some manwich on a bagel.
There you go.
Listen, don't get me started, Frank. Once I go one bagel, I'm done. I'm like over. I'm on the other side. I'm telling. I have been known when we have had Einstein here. I've done like 3 bagels.
Well, it's easy. It's easy. They have that nice chew to them.
They do.
That's a hard thing to do because their bagels are boiled and then baked. They're boiled at the start, and they just got that really good chew to them. And if I get Einstein's, I'm getting the sandwich, and it's usually the they have the lox on cream cheese.
Oh,
it's delicious.
I love it. All right, here we go. Chuck, our buddy in Shaler. Chuck, have you thought out from driving that UPS truck last week? I mean, it had to be like you were driving around in a refrigerator box. And thank you for all the deliveries, by the way.
Yeah, it was a little bit brutal, Rob. But after last week, I definitely have zero doubts or second thoughts about retiring this year. That was enough.
Good for you. Mm-hmm. We're going to miss you. Good for you. But you can still call us.
Oh, absolutely.
So what do
favorite part of my weekend.
I love that little breakfast burrito shot. That picture. It looked delicious. How long did it take you to make that?
It didn't actually take that long because I had a leftover steak in Takeda, so that was already cooked. So I got a big 10-inch tortilla, put some shredded cheddar cheese, and I grilled an onion, a yellow pepper, an orange pepper, diced that all up, made some scrambled eggs, mixed in a little bit of mushrooms with that. Put that all on the burrito, put a little bit of salsa, let all the cheese melt and roll it up. Let it cook for a few more minutes where it got that nice little crunch on the outside. And I could only eat half of that thing. It was so full.
That's wonderful. Nice, handheld sandwich as well. And that just sounds great. So this kind of things makes me hungry in the morning now.
Well,
I just get the snack food
after the show. I'm gonna eat the other half of it. But yeah, it was leftovers. I mean, the peppers needed to be cooked because they were starting to shrivel a little bit, and I had a couple mushrooms left. It was the perfect recipe to use up the food's too expensive to waste. It was a perfect recipe.
Oh, there's no reason to waste food. We waste enough stuff. Don't waste food. And that's perfect way to get rid of it. And it's very versatile. I mean, anything you have can almost get, whatever you have in the morning for breakfast, or if you're making it for lunch for something else, just use it up.
I love it.
I try to.
Go ahead, Chuck.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You was talking about that manwood still?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. You can make a good meatloaf or a hamburger with that too. If you just want to just mix some of it in.
Yeah.
You don't want to make it real sloppy like you're making a sloppy joes, but mix a little bit of broth in, make a meatloaf or mix it in with a burger, maybe chop up onion.
Oh, see, I have one can.
Real easy.
Yeah, I have one can at home, and you know what? I think that might be my burger. I might make some burgers today. That might be. I can
throw a little bit of onion in with that. Yeah. Oh, that's good.
I never did it, so I'll have to cut it. Obviously, it's gonna cut it down because you don't want it to be mush. But my wife loves sloppy joes. I love sloppy joes, and that'll be perfect meal for when she comes back in from outside, coming to heat back up.
Yeah, and it's easy. Just mix in the ground meat, and that's it. Maybe if you like, I like a lot of onions, and make a cheeseburger or whatever. I mean, it's a different flavor. You're gonna get your sandwich and a hamburger at the same time.
Yeah, I think some jalapeno mustard might go good on that.
Oh, listen, the new Bellevue Extra Hot, whatever they've done to it. So I'm coming into work when it's like 14 below yesterday, and I had some of that before I left my house. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning, a little breakfast. I had to take off my winter hat, and I was like sweating. I was like perspiring. It was like freezing outside. All right, Chuck, thanks for the call, buddy. Let's go to Kathy in Imperial. Kathy, good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. I have a good recipe for you guys. It makes a great leftover. But quickly, the best bagel in the city of Pittsburgh is in Squirrel Hill at a place called Pigeon Bagel. They are unbelievable. It's as close to a New York bagel as you'll get. Delicious. You need to try it. And their cream cheeses, which they call a schmear, my favorite is the fig and honey. It is out of this world, that place. Can't say enough good about those bagels. Pigeon Bagel. But anyway, okay, so here's my recipe. I eat real healthy, and so I like to get the 93% lean ground beef for my meatloaf. And I go to a bulk food store in Ohio where they have dried, it's the only place I can find it, dried green pepper flakes, because I like the green pepper flavor. And I find that when you use the dehydrated vegetables in your meatloaf, when that's cooking and all the juices are going, the flavors from the dehydrated dried green pepper flakes and dehydrated onion is much better than fresh, believe it or not, as far as flavor goes. So I like the Lipton Beefy Onion Soup Mix because it's got the beef base and it also has the dehydrated onions. So it's the ground beef, the pepper flakes, the beefy onion, and then I put egg, a little splash of milk. You can use plant-based milk if you want to, and a little bit of ketchup. Gives it a little bit of sweetness. So that's a very lean but very delicious meatloaf. But what I do with that is I'll make meatballs out of it, and I put them in the freezer, and I'll make rice bowls. Now, the thing I forgot to add is instead of breadcrumbs, I use cauliflower rice. So This is such a low-calorie, no-carb, delicious meatloaf. Believe it or not, that cauliflower rice really does give it that moisture that you want. Now, I'll make meatballs with that, and I put them in the freezer. I make a meatloaf with it, but I'll also make a bunch of those meatballs, and I will make myself rice bowls But without rice, I use cauliflower rice. So a cup of cooked cauliflower rice. I can't believe it's not butter spray, a little bit of garlic, salt, and black pepper. I drizzle a little bit of low-sodium soy sauce. And then I saute peppers and onions in cooking spray and then put a couple of those meatloaf meatballs on top. And it is really filling, and it's under 250 calories. So it's delicious. It's warm on a snowy day like this, but you can feel great about eating it because it's very calorie friendly and no carbs. So that's mine. That's my recipe.
That's great. And using the same recipe to make the meatballs and, probably some other things you can do with it as well. And using the cauliflower rice, that was my only thing as long as, sometimes you use that rice for either a filler or a bind. It helps bind as well. And putting that cauliflower rice, I bet that would work pretty good.
Good stuff, Kath. Thank you. Go ahead.
I put that in the green peppers, too. I put that in my stuffed peppers as well, the cauliflower rice instead of rice. And then it's like I said, it's like almost no calories. When you have the egg in there, there's moisture from the egg. There's a little bit of fat in the meat, even though it's 93%. So it's nice and moist, and that little splash of milk too. That it makes it nice and moist and very calorie friendly.
Well, that cauliflower rice too is going to pick up more flavor than what an actual rice would, and add a little bit to it as well. So I think that really, really would help the 93. In fact, because of that.
Yeah, because that's leaner, but I mean any kind of ground beef, even if it's 93, it's still going to have that a little bit of that fat.
Some.
But that cauliflower rice is such a great discovery of mine that I use with so many things.
Good, thank you.
So there you have it. Okay, and try pigeon bagels. Delicious.
We'll do it.
We'll have to.
Thanks, Kathy. Have a great day. All right, listen, before we get to break, some things to think about real quick, a lightning round. How long leftovers last in the fridge and freezer? What are we looking at, Frank?
Depending on what it is. I don't go past 5 days inside the fridge. And the freezer depends on what it is. You can go 6 months. You can go to a year on some things. But I like to go anywhere between a couple months, really, 2 to 3 months, because a disaster can always strike. So I kind of go on the little bit of caution and plus freezer and risk of freezer burn. When I'm saying disaster, you lose power. It's middle of summer. You lose power for a couple of days. You just lost everything in your freezer. So kind of playing that cautionary a little bit, so you don't have always controlling what you have.
All right, so what we're going to do, we take a break. We'll come back. We've got John in Washington, PA. Chicken soup is what he likes in the way of leftovers. What are your favorite leftovers? That's the topic of conversation today. You call in with your favorite leftovers. Somebody is going to take home a $25 gift certificate. But the big story, the big game, a week from today, we've got 2 big days of great savings for the big game and more. It's the 7th and 8th of February. Get in there while the selection is best. Saturday, first thing when the stores open. Names like Hunt's Manwich Sloppy Joe sauce. We'll have fresh ground beef. We've got Isley's Chip Chop ham. So much more. Don't miss it out. Don't miss out. 2 great days of savings, the 7th and 8th, next weekend at Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
Larry Richard for CertaPro Painters. I've been a customer for over a decade. Why? Because the professional work CertaPro Painters does protects your home, quality paint, worry-free process, free estimates. That's why I've relied on CertaPro Painters. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in our community. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
Hi, I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, America's largest family law firm. During this time of year, difficult relationships sometimes become impossible. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
Pittsburgh and Cranberry Township. Joseph Cordell. Licensed in Missouri and Illinois only.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
When you call yourself the voice of Pittsburgh, you have to know when to not talk. Sometimes you just need to be the ears of Pittsburgh. Just listen. Listen to what you have to say. These are complicated and uncertain times. But when you need us, we're here for you, and we're listening. A trusted source that you can count on to be here. 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
It is 8 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 8:30. I'm Rob Taylor. The fire that occurred at the Mather apartment building in Morgan Township in Greene County, it was so massive it destroyed the entire building. Now that building will have to be demolished. That fire began around 3 o'clock on Saturday morning at the building on 3rd Street. At least 3 people were taken to the hospital. The building had 10 apartment units. Jefferson Morgan School District said that monetary donations and gift cards for those who were displaced are being accepted at the Jefferson Fire Hall, and donations are also being accepted at the Greene County Salvation Army. A Washington County man was arrested as part of a 4-month multi-state investigation into drug trafficking. 53-year-old Archie Orson was arrested following a traffic stop on Route 18 in Burgettstown. Police say he had crack cocaine in his possession. Now, the arrest is part of a larger investigation into the distribution and trafficking of heroin, crack cocaine, and more in Jefferson County in Ohio. Also, Mount Pleasant and North Fayette Townships in Washington County, as well as Robinson Township in Allegheny County. Orson right now is in the Washington County Jail. Officials are warning people not to walk on the ice that's built up on Pittsburgh's 3 rivers. A number of people did just that on Saturday, walking from the North Shore to Point State Park, even on the icy river. 2 young children were also spotted on the ice. It's not illegal to walk on the icy rivers, but it's risky, according to local meteorologists. First responders are also placed at risk if they're called to rescue someone who may have fallen through the ice and into the water. Well, the Grammy Awards will be handed out on CBS and Paramount Plus tonight. Here's CBS's Deborah Rodriguez with the preview.
Apologies, I want to see y'all geeked up. The one to beat at tonight's Grammys is Kendrick Lamar. He has the most nominations with 9. Lady Gaga is next with 7 nods. This guy seems to be everywhere leading up to the Super Bowl. Bad Bunny, nominated for 6 Grammys, is a favorite for Album of the Year. Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters is a strong contender for Song of the Year. A possible game changer, the 3,800 creators and professionals who joined the Recording Academy last year. Many are young, female, and people of color. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
KDKA Radio News Time, 8:33. AccuWeather forecast next.
Support St. Anthony school programs and help students with special needs achieve their full potential through inclusive education, therapy sessions, and job skills development. Serving students ages 5 through 21 with Down syndrome, autism, and other intellectual disabilities. Find St. Anthony school programs within select Catholic schools in the Pittsburgh area, including a post-secondary program at Duquesne University. For over 70 years, they have empowered students of all faiths to live independently and contribute meaningfully to society. Learn more or donate at stanthonykids.org.
Let's ring in the new year by finally checking off something that actually matters. Your old videotapes and photos are fading more every year. VCRs are disappearing, and the clock is ticking to save your family's most important memories. Hi, I'm Adam Baselogger.
And I'm Nick Mako. We started Legacy Box to help you preserve your memories by converting all your videotapes, photos, and film reels into digital files. And this year, it's easier than ever.
Introducing our biggest kit yet, able to hold up to 80 videotapes or film reels or 2,000 photos. It's perfect for big collections. You can even send in old DVDs, memory cards, flip phones, or early generation iPhones.
Legacy Box is truly the easiest New Year's resolution you'll ever keep. Just fill your box and send it in. As the world's largest digitizer of home movies and photos, all work is done in the U.S., and we're trusted by over 1 million families.
Start the new year right by rescuing the moments you haven't watched in years. Go to legacybox.com/radio for an incredible 55% off. That's legacybox.com/radio for 55% off.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
A flurry may linger into the morning hours of today. Otherwise, clouds give way to some sunshine with a high of 22. But clouds build back in for tonight with a low falling to just 4, followed by a blend of clouds and sun tomorrow and a high of 25. For Tuesday, expect more clouds around, but it won't be quite as cold with a high of 30. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
The following program is paid for by Coons Quality Market. The diet can continue Monday. This is the Coons Cooking Hour on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, NASCO Roofing Instant Access. After a meal or two off the Coons rotisserie chicken, I simmer what is left and add spices like bay leaf and thyme and make a chicken stock. That stock and some meat from the fresh rotisserie chicken plus vegetables make a hearty soup. And Darnell at the McKnight store is awesome. So I just thought I'd share that with you, Frank.
No, that's great. First of all, the Darnell's awesome at the McKnight store. That's that's a plus. I always love to hear it back. How much the customers and like the employees. That tells me employees are being friendly, like we do train them to do, and making sure that the customer's having a wonderful experience when they come in. It's hard to do shopping. It does. That's one of the highest parts of your budget as a family. So there's no reason to have trouble once you go to our stores either. We want to be above and beyond what the other stores around us are.
Yeah, don't forget 2-day sales, Saturday, Sunday next week for the big game weekend. We've got other great sales on names like Utz or Utz. It is Utz, but people do say Utz to me. Hey, give me some of them Utz, but it's Utz. And again, with names like Manwich from Hunt's and Isley's, Chip Chopped Ham. What else? We got Gold PT, great savings there. Boski's Kobasa. So anything you need for that big party for the big game, including some great big 2-day of savings sale, February 7th and 8th, get to Coons Market. Please explain, though, you want to get there the first day because the shelves empty out very quickly because these are such great savings that you just aren't going to find anywhere else, Frank.
Well, it's just ensuring that you're going to, that you have time to get the product and that you're going to get the choice of the product that you want. We do strive our best to make sure we don't run short. That's our goal. And every now and then we'll run into a manufacturer issue. What usually happens on the grocery and cleaning items, those making sure. And you never know what's going to hit. There could be a snowstorm. Our last 2-day sale happened right before the snowstorm. So it was a lot of work to make sure that we had enough to be able to cover everything, which we came through pretty good on. But yeah, getting through that first day, but we'll still have stuff the second day.
Absolutely.
We'll definitely do. But, if you want to make sure that first day is obviously the best.
This is the best time, though, to be in a grocery store when it's cold. Because
it's warm.
Yeah, and you're buying comfort. But you're buying comfort food. You're going to go heat the kitchen up. You're going to sit down with the family. You're going to relax, and you're going to enjoy a good meal because you're not running outside. You're not doing yard work. You're not doing any of that stuff. You're going to watch a nice movie. If you got a fireplace, throw another log on the fire. Make some soup. Make some steaks. Make a roast. Also, pasta. Great day for pasta.
Well, right now, this time, not only is it cold outside, but there's less sunlight, so there's more time to be in the home. And, you have the time to do extra cooking and that kind of stuff. And so taking advantage of it. So, yeah, stopping at the store. And I always like walking into the departments, the produce, the meat, the deli, the bakeries, and seeing new things or what are they making that day. Especially at the deli, we have new prepared foods that are coming out. Every day is a little bit different. And then we have a new item that's going to be coming out for Lent in the fish category in the Lent in the deli. So, keep your eye, stay tuned. You might be seeing some fish coming from the Great Lakes this time. So just stay tuned. We'll keep you informed as we get
mackerel.
close. So, yeah.
You know, Di Fratelli, my favorite owl, and I love the grocery industry, but I love the sauce and pasta owl. I just can't get enough of it. Di Fratelli is really, I mean, I've had people come up to me, hey, I saw the video, I tried it, loved it. That's really starting to take off.
Well, that product there, too, the biggest difference, obviously, the product that they're putting out there. But one of the big differences, too, is they line the inside of the can. It's white on the interior, so you're not having the transfer of the metal, the transfer of that aluminum, or the material of the can into the food. Because tomatoes are very acidic, and they can eat into that, and they can eventually get some of that flavor. And that's what you don't want. Where Di Fratelli takes that extra step to keep that from happening, and they have a great product. I mean, we've used it for years and years and years, and it's just it's a staple. Whenever my mom would go to the grocery store, said no. She'd list it, Di Fratelli. Do not pick up any different tomato except for Di Fratelli. But they don't have tomato paste, so for tomato paste, we usually went with either Hunt's or Contadina.
All right, 866-391-1020. Here is John. We're talking leftovers today. So if you have a leftover favor, call us. You may win a $25 gift certificate. John, good morning. How are things in Washington, PA? Good morning.
Frigid. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Hey, this leftover chicken soup I have, you gave me a great lead-in because the star of the show is leftover rotisserie chicken pieces, obviously without the skin. What you do, it's a one-pot, 5-ingredient deal. Take a tablespoon of olive oil and chop one chopped onion, 2 minced garlic cloves, 1 medium chopped carrot, 1 chopped celery stalk, and whatever chicken leftovers you have, put it in the mix. And over the medium heat, you add the olive oil until it simmers. And then you add the onions, carrots, garlic, and celery, and cook until the onions translucent. Maybe that's 4 or 5 minutes. And then you add the chicken and stir to combine it, and add the broth, pepper, mix it together, increase the heat to high, bring it to a boil, then reduce the heat and cover and simmer for about 20 minutes until all the flavors have combined. And then that's what you have, leftover chicken soup. Very fast, very easy, and very good.
Yeah, and chicken soup just warms the soul as soon as you have it, brings back, those nice memories. Not hard to make. A lot of soups are not hard to make. We don't make enough of them, really. We rely so much on the canned ones, where making it at home, as long as you have stock on hand, or, whether you made it or you bought the stock, you can do a lot with it. And soup is a wonderful way to clean up any extra leftovers that you have as far as ingredients. So like celery, what else am I going to do with this celery? I have just a whole stalk and I only use a little bit. A soup's going to be a way to get rid of that. Carrots is the same thing. Whether you bought a baby carrot or a shredded carrot, it'll work. Using those things up, any different greens you have. So, you can work into there as well. Not lettuces so much, but the heartier greens work their way in. So, utilizing things inside a nice fresh pot of soup and making a lot of it, get enough of it so that you can actually freeze it, because it freezes very well. And freezing it and putting in containers that are the portion right, now you can replace the cans because you already have it done.
All right, thank you for the call, John. We've got room for you for the first time, some empty space on the phone lines. Leftovers, the topic of conversation, 866-391-1020. Next hour, back to the headlines that Rob has been talking about in the newsroom. We'll give you a chance to voice your opinion, some local stuff, and some national and international stuff, too. Some of the headlines coming up next hour, Open Talk, 9 to 10 with your Pratt Pack. Okay, so let's get back to some of the rules of the road when it comes to leftovers. How to thaw and reheat leftovers. Not all leftovers taste good in the microwave. Sometimes I think you got to get out the cast iron skillet and give them some real heat.
Yeah, like if I'm like sauce, I have it, and I'm gonna put it right into the oven. I can break up that piece a lot better. The one thing to remember about the microwave is it cooks from the outside in, which happens in the oven, but it's more consistent all the way around. The microwave is going to cook that same temp all the way through, and what it tends to do, because of the speed that it cooks, it'll get those outsides will get overdone. Especially if you get into like reheating chicken, you're going to get that starting to cook too much on the outside. So, a covered container, leaving it enough to vent, usually keeps that moisture in there. You can always turn the power level down if you want. You can use your settings that are already on the microwave, like a lot of the newer microwaves, and this is 10 years and newer, have the settings. So they'll have a settings to, to reheat pizza. They'll have a setting to reheat chicken. They'll reheat, just like they have for the popcorn and baked potatoes and all that. They have these settings and they're geared towards turning the temperature down and controlling how much it heats in order to do that. They have, some of them have just a leftover button, which is and they ask how many pounds, you're putting in there, and it'll control that heat so that it doesn't really do that burn. That's the biggest thing with a microwave is the way it heats it up, And you know what? If you want the best way to reheat, really it is. And it really is in a crock pot, oven, stove, those ones which take a little longer, but they do the better job.
They do the better job. And I also think there are other things that you can do to actually make them taste like day one by revisiting some of the ingredients and maybe adding a little bit of those ingredients. Not all of them, but just a little bit to make them taste as good as they did on day one, Frank.
Well, sometimes it's using preparing the ingredients ahead of time, so and making like soup is a good one because you can make stock ahead of time. So you can make all these different soups with that stock. The stock is what took a long time to make to begin with. And then it's taking that stock and then putting your vegetables and your, using a leftover meat, which is already cooked, so it's going to reduce that time of the soup by a lot, when you do it that way. And just handling all that. And the one biggest thing to remember about leftovers too, don't get overwhelmed with them. So you might have too many that you can't eat all this. Utilize your freezer, utilize good packaging, like using the freezer bag, squeeze the air out before you put it in there. If you want to do the vacuum packers do work great. They have them for vacuum. You can vacuum a bag, but liquids are hard to do that way. So they have containers with a little valve on top. You hook up to that valve and pump it out. And you can vacuum pack soups without ruining your, by sucking all, because when you do the bag, it'll suck right through and then it won't seal. Doing it that way, you're good to go on that as well. And of course, vacuum, you can last a lot longer. Even if you're vacuuming though, if you're not freezing it, I still only recommend like 14 days just in case something got trapped in there. But again, turning through it, making sure you're using it, using those, whether it's a new recipe or just reheating it.
Sounds good. All right, short break. We'll come back. We're going to talk to Diane in Valencia. We'd love to hear from you. It's all about leftover recipes. 866-391-1020. Coons Cooking Hour, your Pratt Pack. We'll be right back.
It's the little things. The information you need. People you know. The little things that make a big difference. The voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
I'm Dan Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, millions of people called us for representation. Why? Because trust grows when you win. And we've won a lot. Over $30 billion and counting. When you call America's largest injury law firm, you're calling a family. You're calling an army. Our army. You're calling somebody who will fight for you. Injured? Let our family fight for your family. Morgan & Morgan. ForThePeople.com.
Morgan & Morgan, 603 Stanwyck Street, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania lawyer will handle Pennsylvania cases. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Take a break and come out with us tonight.
Not tonight, man.
Come on. You deserve a night out. You're going to miss out.
Miss out on what?
While you stayed home, they won big. They celebrated. They got the suite, stayed up all night, and made memories. And you weren't there. Some nights are too good to sit out. Rivers Casino. Don't miss the moment.
That's the sound of James adding long-lasting Gain scent boosters to his laundry this morning. Several hours later, James sniffs the irresistible scent of Gain on his shirt. Gain. Several hours later, James has even caught the attention of his mother-in-law, and she never gives him attention.
Ooh, you smell amazing, James.
Oh, thanks, Mom. I love you, too.
I never said that.
Add Gain scent boosters to your laundry. Add joy to your day.
Real sports talk for real sports fans. What's up, everybody? I'm Nick Costos, and you can catch You Better You Bet with me weekday mornings 9 to noon Eastern on the new Westwood One Sports. From being live from Radio Row for the big game to being joined by the biggest names in sports and entertainment, it's sports talk for people that love sports. Download the Odyssey app and listen from anywhere. It's You Better You Bet with me, Nick Costos, live and interactive Monday through Friday, 9 to noon Eastern, presented by BetMGM on Westwood One Sports.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
the diet can continue Monday. This is the Coons Cooking Hour on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
The other great thing, leftovers. Make about 3 dozen meatballs and just eat them every day of the week.
They go faster than you think, though. When you know they're going to be there.
Not the ones that I make. They look like shot puts, huh?
6 at a time, they go. Yep.
But you can put, one thing I've learned from you, you can spice things up. I was just traditional as a kid, but you can add garlic and green peppers. There's so many things you can put inside a meatball to make it
to your heart's content. I forget which color, but the dehydrated, like she said, the dehydrated herbs we saw from this lighthouse, and it's different. Like there's parsley, there's the shallots, there's dehydrated onions and all this, and you can add you can put it into your cooking if you're making something that has enough water, or you can dehydrate them. You can rehydrate them first. They have instructions on it, and they taste like fresh herbs. That's the hard part. When you buy fresh herbs, you got to use them now. And sometimes there's too many. And if you grow your own, that's more work. Honestly, it's like, it's more work. And then if they start taking over, they start to really take over your windowsill, and now you can't even look outside. So those dehydrated ones work very, very well. I always keep extra seasoning, so different seasoning mixes. We have our Coon spices that I use, and then there's some other one. There's just Dano's, and that I like. It has ones for seafood and then an all-purpose and a couple of different ones, and they work out very good, very, very good. And just pairing, what you're gonna have. Like we were making a pork tenderloin, and I knew how long it was. We were putting 425, and I had one that was like a barbecue sugar molasses base, and I knew it was gonna burn if I put it in there, so I didn't put that on the pork, and went to a different, more all-purpose, just to add that extra seasoning to it. But you can play along with these things. Chicken doesn't have to be just chicken. There's thousands of different spices, and then the fats you add in with, you're adding butter, or it's the different oils or olive oils, and there's a lot of different flavors you can add back in.
All right, let's get Diane on from Valencia, one of our favorites, and who doesn't love vegetable soup? Hey, Diane.
Good morning, guys. Great show, and I think this could be a challenge for some people. With the past week that we had, I think a lot of people consumed a lot of their leftovers, but I know in my house I always try to make up a bunch of extra vegetables, and if it's from steaming, sauteing, but our ultimate favorite definitely is to have roasted vegetables on hand. And Rob, to what you were saying about meatballs, with this recipe too, getting some ground turkey, ground chicken, make it into mini little meatballs. If you don't have enough time, just mix it in with a little bit of seasoning and breadcrumbs and make them into like little slider patties. You can use it for your sandwiches to go with it, or break them up and have that to add into the soup. But, you can start off using your favorite chicken broth, beef broth, vegetable broth. We like to add in some zucchini, some roasted broccoli, some green beans, carrots, cabbage. And we have a lot of times some extra tomatoes always left around from usually the grape tomatoes from our salads. So I'll usually just put some olive oil on them, put them in the oven at 350, roast them up a little bit, add those into the soup with some celery. If you do have your meats on hand, boil that up to help in your base. Add in some sliced green or bell peppers, some navy beans. And I always recommend making your noodles, or if you want rice, put that on the side. I just always seem to have where the broth gets consumed with that a lot. And the other thing you can flip this over to with is, a friend of mine made for me this week was a great veggie chili. You put enough beans in it. I had a hard time trying to figure out that it wasn't a meat chili. So, with the Isley's barbecued, Isley's chipped ham this week, you can make you some ham barbecues or some ham and cheese melt sandwiches, and you've got a great meal. So this is a great show, and I'd love to know how many people end up with leftovers. It was a challenging week for sure.
Ham and cheese melt. I haven't had one of those in forever.
No, I don't have any leftovers left, except for my sauce. I always have that in the freezer, but I used everything up, which is a good thing. But sometimes I look forward to the leftovers. It's on my mind, like, I can just grab. You know why? Because if you have lunch the next day, so I don't want to cook for that. And I was like, I have this just to heat up or cold. Like, like Rob saying with meatballs or meatloaf is a really good one. Sometimes I'll just eat that cold. or just reheat it real quick. I love having them for work and all that, but I used everything up. My fridge is, and that's, it's watching that you did it because you go home, you're like, wait a minute, I don't have any food. I have the emergency can of soup in there, and I got some sauce and some pasta at all times, but if that's not what I want, I was like, uh-oh, I got to find something because I got to stop and get a couple of things because we went through everything. And not that we watched what we bought to begin with. And then through the week, the leftovers I had taken with me to work. So, yeah, it all used up.
All right, good stuff, Diane. Thank you so much. Let's get one more. Kathy, I got about a minute left. All yours.
What do you want me to do?
I said I got a minute left. What's your recipe? Go ahead.
Hi, I like leftover roast beef for the next day sandwiches with horseradish on it.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, the horseradish.
I love horseradish. A little giddy up to it, huh?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Kathy, thank you. This really went pretty well because you know why? People, listen, I don't know anybody that doesn't eat leftovers, but we forgot to mention the best. The best. Spaghetti's right there. Everything has a sauce when it comes to me. But pizza, it's probably the most versatile leftover there is, even if the cardboard box that it's in is shoved into the refrigerator and you just simply reach in and take a slice cold the next day or the day after and don't heat it up or anything, it's great.
Growing up, my friend across the street, his parents always had they would always, when they would order Pizza Hut, and they would always order an extra pizza for leftovers for him because during the day they'd single wrap each piece in saran wrap and put it in the freezer. And so that, growing up when you're, first, second, third grade, you're like, you're not cooking, whatever. So, and they were working, they were doctors. So he would go home, take one out of the freezer, pop it in the microwave, minute and a half done, unwrap it, and he had a good meal. That way they knew that he was eating at least something, because, if you're busy with playing out, we played outside so much, sometimes we just forgot to eat.
I love Pizza Hut. Our buddy Louie from Giarussa's wife manages the one in the township. I love Pizza Hut. And next week, they will be selling a whole lot of pizza. Have you seen the new ad with Tom Brady? It's great.
No, I haven't seen it.
He comes to the door. Hut, hut. Like he's a quarterback. And some lady blindsides him, some older lady, and knocks him down, tackles him. One of the greatest ads I've ever seen for Pizza Hut, Tom Brady. All right, listen, quick break, coming back. Drawing this week's winner next on KDKA.
The Big K Morning Show with Larry Richards.
Time is now as people want to get their tax situation squared away. It's Cole, Benoni, Wilson.
So many changes. Even the tax professionals were double checking the rules. There's dozens. You're seeing them, like you said, on the federal and state by state adjustments, inflation updates.
Weekday mornings 5:30 to 10 on the Voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
The Village at St. Barnabas, the perfect place for moms.
Here's the latest from the KDKA Community Message Board.
Throughout Black History Month, the city of Pittsburgh celebrates the spirit and heroism of the Vachon family. Downtown, on Friday evening, February 6th, join a reception in the City County Building Grand Lobby. Schley Deck and Fence Company. Call today for an estimate on your rotten, rusted, paint chipping railings. Get your railings safe again by spring. Call 412-515-6575. Schley Deck and Fence. SchleyDeckCompany.com. PA 211 is a free confidential service available 24/7. If you're facing challenges with basic needs like food, insecurity, housing, or utility bills, help is just a phone call away. Dial 211 or PA211.org to connect with local resources today.
Details at KDKARadio.com.
100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA, covered by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 platinum roofing company. Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
The diet can continue Monday. This is the Coons Cooking Hour on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, this week's winner of that $25 gift certificate from Coons Market is...
And this week's winner is Kathy from Imperial.
So 1 week from today, we'll be in the midst of the big game edition, all the great foods that you love to enjoy during the big game. But I cannot stress this enough. If you want to save and get a selection that only we can provide you, locally owned, independently operated, a Pittsburgh tradition, your neighborhood grocer, 2-day of savings sale, February 7th and 8th. And Frank, it is massive, a great opportunity for people to get ready for the big game, right?
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to really stock up, and we have it, towards what's going to be what you're going to be looking for the game. And don't forget, you're hearing it now. We're going to have those $5.99 chicken wings from our delis, hot or cold, different variety of flavors. So you can place your order for that. You have to use your Coons Reward card when you go get it, but $5.99 a pound, and you can pick those up for the big game. It'd be great. And after the big game, then we have them every Wednesday, as we do now. So you can always pick them up on a Wednesdays. Again, using your card, $5.99 Wingtopia Wednesdays and Wingtopia Big Game.
And don't forget, over 600 varieties of your favorite beers, microbrews, craft beers, best wine selection, grab-and-go food, 2-foot hoagies, pizzas. All you got to do is heat them up, cook them up, and serve. Where? Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition, giant 2-day of savings sale, February 7th and 8th. That's next weekend, right in the middle of that big game weekend. News coming up next.
The preceding program was paid for by Coons Quality Market.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 8 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 9 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. Well, with the extreme cold in our area, City of Pittsburgh just announced they are activating those 5 Healthy Active Living Senior Centers as warming centers again today. Open right now is the Southside location. That's at 12th and Bingham Streets, open until 6:30 tonight. Open today from 11 a.m. until 6 p.m. are the other locations, Beachview, Greenfield, Homewood, and Sheridan, the City of Pittsburgh warming centers for today. A Wilkinsburg man is under arrest after police say he kidnapped, assaulted, and then stole a woman's car. Police say 34-year-old Jermaine Turner went to a woman's house in Wilkinsburg on Tuesday night, refused to leave, and the next day, police say when they drove to a bank to withdraw money, the woman told employees to call police. That's when Turner allegedly fled the scene in the woman's car. Police found Turner on Friday in the 7300 block of Monticello Street in Homewood. Turner's in the Allegheny County Jail awaiting a preliminary hearing scheduled for February 9th. The woman, meanwhile, was transported to the hospital for her injuries. A Washington County man was arrested as part of a 4-month multi-state investigation into drug trafficking. 53-year-old Archie Orson was arrested following a traffic stop on Route 18 in Burgettstown on Saturday. Police say he had crack cocaine in his possession. The arrest is part of a larger investigation into the distribution and trafficking of heroin, cocaine, and crack cocaine in Jefferson County in Ohio, also Mount Pleasant and North Fayette Townships in Washington County, and Robinson Township in Allegheny County. Orson is in the Washington County Jail. About 20 Point Park students were displaced after a pipe burst inside a residence hall. It happened on Saturday inside Lawrence Hall. Students have moved to different locations on campus for housing. Officials are working to remedy the issue. KDK Radio News Time is 9:02. It's time to visit RomeMonuments.com. Life is a journey to remember. Memorialize that journey. RomeMonuments.com. The AccuWeather forecast coming up.
What if you could buy a flippable, two-sided mattress made with the finest materials that cost less than other luxury brands? This is Greg Trzynski of the Original Mattress Factory, and this is exactly what you'll find with our new Orthos line, available exclusively at OMF. We build these by hand using premium materials like wool and cotton. It's old-world craftsmanship with modern comfort, our most extraordinary sleep system. Built locally at a price other luxury brands just can't match. Visit the Original Mattress Factory and experience the Orthos line for yourself.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, When you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
There may still be a flurry around for the morning hours. Otherwise, clouds give way to some sun today with a high of 22. But tonight looks to be cloudy and rather cold with a low of just 4, followed by a mix of clouds and sun tomorrow and a high of 25, with Tuesday bringing even more clouds but less of a chill, high 30. For AccuWeather, I'm LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
The following is an editorial by KDKA Radio Senior Vice President Market Manager Michael Spacciapoli.
Pittsburgh Mayor Corey O'Connor has been tested early on in his administration, and so far, he's passing. The city's public works fleet continues to be challenged after nearly a foot of snow fell last weekend. But Mayor O'Connor has been tireless while keeping the public in the know. Ability starts with availability, and he is constantly giving updates. He appeared on KDKA Radio 3 separate times the day after the historic storm. Then, on Thursday, O'Connor, along with UPMC, announced a one-time gift of $10 million to the city that will go toward buying new emergency vehicles. The money will pay for 9 new ambulances and 1 rescue truck this year, along with 35 new Department Works vehicles and more EMS vehicles in 2027. Friday, the mayor received a $2 million commitment from PNC Bank to buy 15 new plow trucks. O'Connor will face more challenges in the coming weeks, months, and years, but this is how true leaders lead. He is out in front of the issues and facing the challenges head on. The stage does not appear to be too big for Mayor O'Connor. So far, so good.
This has been an editorial by KDKA Radio Senior Vice President Market Manager Michael Spacciapoli. To view a transcript, go to kdkaradio.com.
All right, I got Robin here with me, as in Mr. Taylor. It's the tale of two Robs. He's the young and handsome one, and I'm the older and slightly distinguished-looking one. Metropolitan Window video screen. Click on kdkaradio.com and go to KDKA Watch. So, Damon Wilson, 79 years young, Sanford and Son. He was Red Fox's son. He passed away at the age of 79, prostate cancer, a Vietnam War Purple Medal Heart Award winner, and that was courtesy of one of my incredible listeners. So, Don, thank you for that. Always want to take time to salute our veterans. But I'm going to tie it all together for you, young man. I love this show. Now, back then, Norman Lear had them all. Jefferson's, All in the Family. I mean, everyone knew who Norman Lear was. He was on every network, but Sanford and Son was his too. Always loved Red Fox. When I was a kid growing up, Richard Pryor wasn't the first, but Red Fox used to make these albums that were for parties and adults, okay, because of the humor. And my parents would kind of have people over, and I would hear these bits coming through the register heating ducts at night, and I loved the guy. I go to Las Vegas in 1977. I'm like 18, 19 years old. An older Italian gentleman who I used to wait on at a restaurant, one night we're talking, he said, "You need to go to Vegas, kid." I said, "Vegas?" I said, "Man, I'd love to go to Vegas. I always wanted to go to Vegas. The Rat Pack, the Sands Hotel." He said, "You know what? I'm going out on a junket to do a little gambling. I'm going to take you." So today you'd think, well, why's this guy want to take me to Vegas? But I knew his wife, who looked just like Sophia Loren, Mrs. Bellato, and they were regulars, and my boss knew him. He said, "Go to Vegas, kid." So we went. We land in Vegas. I mean, it's the old strip, the Golden Nugget, just like old Vegas. And we stayed at a place called the Flamingo Hotel. And they're playing Keno and their craps and poker and the roulette wheel spinning around and, the slot machines and the waitresses in the skimpy outfits and no clocks anywhere, okay? And I see on the big marquee, now appearing at the Flamingo Hotel, Red Fox. And
unbelievable.
Yes.
Wow.
And that's when he used to actually dye his hair red. He was absolutely amazing, okay? So Sanford and Son takes off. I'm watching it. It's kind of still the late 70s when I get back, started in the early 70s. Everybody wanted to be certain people in television, the cool ones. I always thought Damon was the coolest. I wanted the windbreaker. I wanted the bell-bottom pants. I thought he was awesome, and how him and his dad had this give and take was fantastic. But I'm going to take it one step further. So their character was the owner of a junkyard. So as a kid growing up, did you ever see the movie Sandlot?
Yeah, I did see that.
James Earl Jones.
Early 90s.
The ball goes over the fence, right? The big dog. Well, when I was growing up, there was Jakey Hour's Junkyard, okay, which was on Marion Hill. And they always said, don't ever go into Jakey Hour's Junkyard, man, because he's got big junkyard dogs in there, And you could just, they'd growl, they'd walk around. And he would have like these old buses and stuff and weeds really high, but it was all fenced in. And you always wondered what was beyond that fence. This went on for years. We used to sleep out at night, literally from May till September. Weekends while we were in school, and then we never slept in our own beds for the entire summer. Listening to WCBS in New York, KDKA, KMOX, WBZ.
All the AM powerhouse sticks.
Yeah, that our Odyssey obviously has a lot now, WINS, but back in the day, Westinghouse, right? Now here's the kid who grows up and actually gets a chance to be a part of that brand. So that's what we would do. These little transistors all night, walk around the neighborhood. So one night, about 3 a.m, and you always had a dodge under the streetlight or under a bush because Chuck Gehring, the chief, would be driving around in his cruiser late at night. So I said, tonight, we're going into Jakey Hour's junkyard. So we go in, hoist each other up, fall over that chain link fence, and you're amongst all the possums and just different animals and these just abandoned automobiles. And I found out later he never had junkyard dogs.
What was the sound?
We don't know, but he never, ever had. But see, these dogs, they were kind of like a hybrid. People would describe them like, bloodthirsty, half wolf, half greyhound, half like, Doberman, pit bull. I mean, so you just had these horrible visions of these animals, right? But I've always been fascinated by junkyards. And then I started to think about all the antiquing. And we had a place called Trash and Treasure when I was growing up, And to this day, I watch these shows on television, these shows of like showing souvenirs and treasures and, well, Pawn Stars. Good example. But I always go back to Sanford and Son and that little house. And I've always loved it because nothing ever matched. They had a striped couch and a plaid chair, lamps with no shades on them, none of the silverware or dishes matched. But what I loved so much about it was about, he would always grab his chest and say, Elizabeth, this is the big one. I'm coming to meet you. I loved this show, and I loved All in the Family, but this was my favorite show. And when I heard that he had died, he actually became a minister for a while there in his life, too. But Eddie Murphy grew up watching it like I did, okay? Loved it. So when he got a chance to produce a TV show called The Royals, he brought Red Fox to star in it. And irony, Red Fox clutching his chest falls, and Eddie and them all think he's doing a bit. He wasn't, and he died. That's how he died.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, after years of his catchphrase was, Elizabeth, I'm coming to meet you. That's what he would do. And he's on this set. But here's what's even more incredibly funny. John Witherspoon.
Of course. Yep.
Funny. I mean, love this dude. I mean, I can't handle it. I watch him to this day. He said he was good friends with Red Fox. So the IRS comes in, and they take everything. Sadly, it also happened to my hero, Sammy Davis. So they take everything from him. They don't leave anything. So he calls Sinatra and Sammy Davis, says, look, they took all my stuff. I got nothing. So Witherspoon says, Sinatra to the rescue, Sammy Davis. They restock his money, pay off all of his IRS debts. And Witherspoon said when he died, he still didn't pay any of his IRS debts. He kept all the cash. But just Sammy Davis, Red Fox, that era, that talent, Sinatra, Martin, incredible. But they were making huge bucks, like 10 grand a week in Vegas back in the day. Can you imagine that? You ever see Harlem Nights?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Della Reese, loved her. Obviously, Richard Pryor, incredible. Eddie Murphy. Do you ever think about Eddie Murphy, the people he has met in his life? He's 18 years old on The Tonight Show. He's 18 years old. He gets hired by Saturday Night Live. He meets all these people, and he hasn't done stand-up comedy in like 20 years. The guy, I mean, he follows in the footsteps of Richard Pryor. So I see an interview with Barbara Walters with Richard Pryor, who is the greatest. And Barbara says, do you like this young kid, Richard Pryor? He says, not at all. I don't like him at all. He said, no. He said, he's going to replace me. I don't want this guy to be successful. But anyway, so Rodney Dangerfield, you know Rodney. Mm-hmm. He sees Eddie Murphy as a young kid in some comedy store. So it's over. He sees him in the hall and said, hey, kid. He says, you got to lose some of that foul language. You're not going to go anywhere with that foul language. What are you doing with that foul language? So now, like a decade later, Eddie's in Florida at some event, and he's in the restroom doing what you do in a restroom, and who comes in and stands right next to him is Rodney Dangerfield. They make eye contact, and all Rodney Dangerfield says was, hey, who knew? You know? I mean, just so the death of this young guy, because of Red Fox being such a star, that kid who now is sadly no longer here, dies at 79. I'm so glad you mentioned him today. He really carried that show. He really carried that show.
Rob, what's so funny, you know, I had never heard of the show, you know, growing up, Sanford and Son. So I'm a freshman at Ohio State in Columbus, just sitting in the dorm, and, you know, we got TBS on, the Superstation, TBS.
Yeah.
And they're showing Sanford and Son. And I'm cracking up. And a part of me thought that this was like a current show.
It could be.
It was 1999, 2000. I'm watching it on TBS, and I'm thinking, is this a current show? I didn't even really, then I finally looked it up and realized, oh, this is from back in the 70s. But I was still cracking up in my dorm room in 99 and 2000.
Listen, the other show that I loved that Norman Lear was responsible for was Good Times.
Oh, yes.
But here's what's one more for you. Let me take a break. Stay here. Uh-huh. We're going to take a break. I got a really cool Eddie Murphy connected to the Good Time Show story that you're going to want to hear. Stay with us. It's your Pratt Pack along with Rob Taylor on a Sunday morning.
Now more than ever, we're the station you can trust for the information you need. KDKA.
Breakfast burritos for the morning brainstorm. Easy Cater. Paninis for the lunch and learn. Easy Cater. Barbecue for the clients from Boston. Easy Cater. Brownie boxes and mini bundt cakes for Brenda's workiversary. Easy Cater. One simple platform to feed any size group with food they love from favorite restaurants, plus tools to help you meet dietary needs and stay on budget. Easy Cater. All the food for your workplace, all in one place. Start an order at easycater.com.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage, no medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Larry Richard for CertaPro Painters. For more than a decade, I've been working with CertaPro Painters doing great work for me, and now is the time. Get a free estimate, get on the schedule at the right price. You never have to wonder what's next with CertaPro Painters. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in our community. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
Where Pittsburgh comes to talk. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
Rob Taylor, God bless him. So your mom and dad, I feel good because somebody's actually older than me. So your mom is in her 80s and your dad's 90?
Yes, 91. 91. We got a birthday. My dad's birthday's coming up, mid-February, so 92. I don't know if he's going skiing. No, he's not.
No, come on now. I'm thinking, man, I got to get back in the gym.
No. Yeah. I'm so happy that they're still just they're driving, having fun. Always telling me what I shouldn't be doing.
I'd love to meet them. No kidding, Rob.
I got to bring them in here one day.
Yeah. It'd be great. All right, now here, I kind of teased this going into the break.
Wait, is this a Home Depot? Because my dad only goes to he only goes to Home Depot and
he still do stuff around the house.
Oh yeah. He's got it. He goes to. He's like, Robbie, I'm going to Home Depot. You want anything from Home Depot? I'm like, bring back a 2x4 for me, thanks.
He's still pretty lucid driving. God bless him, man. There's hope for all of us then. Anyway, talking about that Eddie Murphy Good Times connection. So here it is. Eddie Murphy owns the original Sugar Shack painting by the artist Ernie Barnes, which famously appeared in the closing credits of the 1970s sitcom Good Times. And I didn't know this, love this guy too. And on the cover of Marvin Gaye's 1976 album, I Want You, known for its energetic figures, this iconic piece of black art was purchased by Murphy for $50,000, is now highly valued. So Eddie Murphy owns that too. You know, Eddie's got like 10 kids now.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's cool, man. I love it. But he did save Saturday Night Live.
In the 80s?
Yeah, I don't care. Look, after the Not Ready for Primetime Players, which 1975, Gilda and Belushi and Aykroyd, they had a little bit of a down period. And then Crystal and those guys kind of came in. But Eddie Murphy, man, he lit that up. Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood. Just funny stuff, man.
Yeah, a lot of people in my age range, we remember Eddie Murphy first from the movie Coming to America.
Oh, listen, I go back to Trading Places, but 48 Hours with Nick Nolte. Have you ever seen that?
I have not.
Listen, he's in a cell and he's got these Walkman headphones on and he's singing Roxanne, singing that's the Police song. I literally was in a movie theater, and it's good when the Coke of cola actually comes out your nose. This dude. But have you ever seen him in a movie called Mr. Church?
No, I have not.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Anybody out there, call me if you've seen it. It was dramatic. It was one of the most intriguing, interesting, riveting roles I've ever seen anybody perform in. It was just. I've said this many times. Comedians can act dramatically, like a Jim Carrey and others, if they get a chance. Like Catherine O'Hara, who just died. Tremendous. People don't realize, from Beetlejuice to Home Alone, Second City TV, going back there with Candy and Company, John Candy, these are some iconic people. And what she said was so cool, how her brother met Gilda Radner before they all kind of became Saturday Night Live and big, and how Gilda would come over to their house and have dinner. I mean, who could even think of that much talent? And then Gilda goes on to marry Gene Wilder, who starred in, Young Frankenstein. And, your dad's 90. I got him beat, though. Mel Brooks. They just did a documentary on HBO about his life. And obviously he did Blazing Saddles. And do you know who was originally supposed to play the lead, the sheriff in that?
No, who?
Richard Pryor.
Oh.
But he was so kind of, as they say, that other coked out, that he just, but Mel knew right then and there, and he too was a great actor when given a dramatic role, but we all know him for his comedy, obviously. But Richard Pryor was legendary in the Sunset Strip, the Comedy Store. Just, can you imagine what California was like? 77 Sunset Strip, the Whiskey A Go-Go, back the Comedy Store in the 1970s. Can you imagine trying to survive all of that?
When you look at comedy in the 70s and the 80s as opposed to today, could a lot of that stuff that was said be said today? By comedians?
Yeah, listen, you haven't scrolled some of the people I've scrolled, man. They, like Whitney Cummings and Nikki Glaser, they throw it down pretty good. But you have to realize, I would see these people on the Ed Sullivan Show, Richard Pryor, all of them, and they would do clean-cut comedy. Okay. Then you'd get one of these albums, and it'd be like you'd be looking over for your shoulder for your grandmother was going to appear out of nowhere with a wooden spoon and crack you upside the head. I mean, it was just unbelievable. But, I'm so glad that I grew up in the time that I did, because the 70s and 80s, I got a chance of the glitz and glamour of Vegas, and then the kind of chic, the club type of thing in the 80s. And films really we went from like Barefoot in the Park with Robert Redford and Jane Fonda, Sidney Poitier, Heat of the Night, okay, to Dirty Harry with Clint Eastwood. I mean, violent. I remember The French Connection with Gene Hackman. Saw that in 1971. I'd never seen anything like that in my life. And for somebody to do the language that you would hear growing up in the streets with on the big screen, it was transformational, man. It was such a unique time. And the Grammys are coming up tonight. And look what Kendrick Lamar and all those wonderful, talented people have done. I go back to when Henry Mancini was, getting Grammys for like Moon River. I love the Grammys and how it's evolved and changed. And people say, what's your favorite type of music? Like right now, this kid, Bruno Mars, I Just Might, this song. I mean, I'm in an elevator and it's playing. This guy is just, he may be the biggest phenomenon since two people, Michael Jackson and Elvis Presley.
I mean, yeah, because his appeal is so massive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so massive.
He just did this ballet with Lady Gaga. Listen, when I was a kid, like a Marvin Gaye song, you lift the tone arm up on the turntable and it just kept replaying, okay? I find myself throughout the day listening to that song or clips of it probably a dozen times.
I think Bruno Mars is so talented, people forget how talented he is. You just hear his song all the time on all the radio stations, but if you really sit back and study Bruno Mars, I mean, he can do anything. He's a good dancer, performer, singer, songwriter. He can do everything.
And he got his first name because of Bruno Sammartino.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a fact. Larry Richard, ask anyone. That is a fact. Okay, he was an Elvis impersonator when he was just a kid. Grew up in Hawaii, I think. But the other thing, I didn't realize this. They do this. I don't know if you've seen the video or not. It's called I Just Might. But it's, him with AI playing the drums, playing this, the guitar. But he actually plays all these instruments on his records. He plays guitar, piano, drums. I mean, how could and he has a voice, falsetto, deep, passionate. He does some of the most incredible ballads, like the follow-up to this song. It's a ballad. I heard it the other day. It's unbelievable. And he's performing tonight on the Grammys.
Oh,
And you know what? Sadly, I'll watch this thing tonight, but I got to check some sports and I got to do some work and this and that. But I'll keep clicking to make sure I can see this kid.
Oh, I'm not missing the Grammys, especially there's no football. There's nothing really on, so I'm watching, and I gotta crack up with some of Trevor Noah's jokes too.
And you know what's really bad? You're getting old when you say to your daughter, "Now Madonna, who?" I'm like, you don't know who Madonna is? How do you not know who Madonna? I mean, come on. She's still. There's some people out there that, man, they like this kid Justin Bieber. I get him. This kid's got some great talent, and you listen to some of the tracks he's laid down, big. But Bruno Mars could go down in history like a Sinatra. He could be here like Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is going to be here 20, 30 years from now. She's another person that's got to get the right movie role.
Yeah, and will she ever play a Super Bowl? I think she will.
She will. And yeah, I think that'll come down, but they'll actually probably pay her. She's not. This girl knows how to get it done. But you know who my favorite female singer is of all time?
Of all time.
All time. And she's gone now, sadly.
Who?
Whitney
Houston.
I have to tell you this story. Here we go. One more. Civic Arena up on the hill was still there. And they used to open the roof. I love Teddy Pendergrass. You know who Teddy is? All right. Harold Melvin, the Blue Nose, Philadelphia. Love Teddy Pendergrass. Love TKO. Turn out the lights, all that stuff, right?
Close the door.
Yeah, absolutely. And the velvet suit, the tuxedo with the ruffled shirt. Love him. And guess who opened for him? A young Whitney Houston. And they had a song, a duet out at the time. And I'll never forget, nobody knew who she was. She came out, the backdrop of the city, the stars, beautiful hot night. It was, I swear to God, if I would have closed my eyes and smelled candles burning, I would have thought I was dead. She was that good. I don't know, man. There's a lot of talent out there. Young man.
It's out there, and it just keeps going.
But see, that's why this documentary on Whammo is so important. That it's going to be. You wrote about it in the New Pittsburgh Courier, and it's going to be released very soon. Whammo has truly been the soundtrack of my life. But if you grew up in the city of Pittsburgh, it had to be the soundtrack of your life.
And I'm so happy that TJ is creating that documentary. It's going to be premiering February 28th at the August Wilson African American Cultural Center downtown. So that's going to be big.
We need to get him on my night show when this thing drops.
Oh, yeah. I got TJ's number.
Yeah, I think we should do that. Anyway, you can go do the other thing you do now.
Yeah, let's see what's going on in the world of news.
There you go. That's coming up next with Rob. We had to just talk about some things that I think are very interesting. And again, the Grammys tonight on CBS at 8 o'clock. That's KDKA TV2 right here in the Berg. Okay, quick break, and then we're coming back. We got lots to get to. Stay with us on KDKA.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55, but unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Colin Dunlap on KDKA.
At 75 years old, all drivers should have to retake the road test. If you're good to drive, what's the problem with doing this? But drivers who are 65 plus are involved in about 60% of all crashes into buildings, yet they make up only about 19% of all drivers.
Weekdays 2 to 6 on the Voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
From the Aetna Medicare studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 9 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 9:30. I'm Rob Taylor. A Washington County man was arrested as part of a 4-month multi-state investigation into drug trafficking. 53-year-old Archie Orson was arrested following a traffic stop on Route 18 in Burgettstown on Saturday. Police say he had crack cocaine in his possession. Now, the arrest is part of a larger investigation into the distribution and trafficking of heroin, cocaine, and crack cocaine in Jefferson County in Ohio, also Mount Pleasant, North Fayette Townships in Washington County, and Robinson Township in Allegheny County. Orson is in the Washington County Jail. Well, the fire that occurred at the Mather apartment building in Morgan Township, Greene County, was so massive that it destroyed the entire building. Now the building will have to be demolished. Fire began around 3 o'clock Saturday morning at the building on 3rd Street. At least 3 people were taken to the hospital. The building had 10 apartment units. Jefferson Morgan School District said monetary donations and gift cards for those who were displaced are being accepted at the Jefferson Fire Hall. Donations are also being accepted at the Greene County Salvation Army. KDK Radio News Time is 9:31. Next update's at 10. I'm Rob Taylor on the Voice of Pittsburgh, News Radio KDK.
When you're handling an estate or an inherited home, the decisions can feel overwhelming. At Homebuyers of Pittsburgh, we help families through this every single week. We make a quick, fair cash offer on the home, coordinate any cleanouts, help you through the process, and we'll buy it in its current condition. No pressure, no surprises. Visit homebuyersoftpittsburgh.com or call 412-500-9057 for help selling today. That's 412-500-9057 for help selling today.
Homebuyers of Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh's local trusted homebuyer since 2015.
Honey, I found the perfect place for my parents and us.
Where?
St. Barnabas. For us, the Woodlands Carriage Home Community. And for my parents, condominium-style living at the Village. My folks will love the Village. There's an indoor mall with shops, restaurants, and more. And we can relax, knowing they're safe and secure.
That's what I plan to do when we move to St. Barnabas. Relax.
Call 724-444-5568 or visit stbarnabascommunities.com.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it! Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred roofing replacement contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
A flurry may linger into the morning hours of today. Otherwise, clouds give way to some sunshine with a high of 22. But clouds build back in for tonight with a low falling to just 4, followed by a blend of clouds and sun tomorrow and a high of 25. For Tuesday, expect more clouds around, but it won't be quite as cold with a high of 30. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, we were talking earlier today about the president telling Kristi Noem, look, unless they ask for our help in these Democratic-led cities, stay out of it, back off, just dial it down a little bit. Meanwhile, a judge, on the other hand, has said you can continue to do what you're doing, ICE, just do through the proper channel. So is this a sign of the president giving in a little bit, or do you think that finally, I think even he realizes that this has gone too far in the wrong direction with 2 people dying? Also, the other story, a lot of praise being put out for the mayor, Corey O'Connor in Pittsburgh with snow removal. And I concur and agree with that. And I think the main reason he's been visible out, you've heard him as many as 3 times during the storm here on KDKA Radio. And with what UPMC, that gracious gift of $10 million to buy new snow vehicles, and including another ambulance, wonderful. PNC Bank stepping up $2 million. He's not only working the phones, creating and being the deal maker, but he's also letting the people of Pittsburgh know that he is out there with them every step of the way. I mean, Sarah Innamorato, Allegheny County chief exec as well, Port Authority, PennDOT, everyone. I mean, I honestly, if you think about where we were a week ago, heading into what was going to be just atrocious to where we are today, we should be lucky that we're in a deep freeze because this stuff hasn't melted as quickly as it could have, and it's going to go up to about 20 plus tomorrow, so we can slowly start having it melt slowly, as opposed to one night being in sub-zero conditions and then the next day being 50, 55, 60 degrees, and then you got to worry about flooding. But all in all, I think the city of Pittsburgh, because of him communicating and being visible, I think it really was an incredible opportunity to see how the city can work when everybody is on the same page. So just a couple of things to think about. Look at the big picture as far as what's happening in this country right now. This could be the beginning of getting things headed back in the right direction, to where people open up a line of communication, start respecting one another, and more importantly, I think the president is going to be a little bit different moving forward. You know, he was rough around the edges, and he could get very tough on people at times, and sometimes it was like either his way or no way. But I think the tragedy that took place in which 2 people lost their lives, no matter which side of the argument you're on, I think he realized by sending Mr. Holman up there, and obviously his remarks to Kristi Noem, the secretary, the person behind the Department of Homeland Security, he knows we've got to find a way to unite people. Because here's what this guy's got to be realizing now. All the things that he has done, and he kind of forced some of it on people, according to some people in our country, the tariffs, the Doge, all of these things, bringing Elon Musk in. I think he realizes the only way to get this stuff done, you don't only need bipartisan cooperation in the Capitol, but you need the American people to believe in it as well, too. And as far as I'm concerned, if we do not work together and to communicate, and then we're not going to do anything. You see, this country was built by people from all walks of life. Had nothing to do with their religion or race. It was about hardworking people that understood the greater good could only be accomplished if everybody worked together. And sadly, when you think about the industrial age and how we really built America here in the Steel City, because we did, we were the catalyst to get us to where we became the country that we have been and continue to be as we head to our 250th birthday. And a lot of it began right smack dab in the middle of where we call home. People that couldn't even speak the language, that's right, could not even communicate with people, taught themselves how to speak English, taught themselves how to enjoy and to be a part of the American culture that had already been in progress forever. But instead of forcing their will against it, they embraced it. And when people who were born here and living here saw them trying to embrace what this country was all about, everybody jumped on board. You have to realize when World War I broke out, for those people who had just come through Ellis Island, turn of the century from the 20th to the 21st, who could not even speak the English language. Many of them went back to where they were from, not to visit family in Germany, but to fight for their new country, to defend their new opportunity. And many of them who came here thinking that this place was 5-star. Everything was just 24 karat gold. There was not a bad day. There wasn't sickness. There was opportunity and cash and whatever your little heart desired. But when many got here, and I've heard these stories from immigrants and people that are now left from those immigrants, there was nothing. They lived in tenement housing projects. Many of them didn't have heat on days like today when these winter days were more, well, than just a few. They were all the time. And the streets were not paved with gold. They were dirt. They weren't even brick. They weren't concrete. They weren't cinders. They weren't anything. But they were grateful because every day they woke up, they knew they had an opportunity. And instead of confronting each other, they work with each other. And, you know, we talk about discrimination, anti-Semitism, racism, all the things that are happening in our country today. Ask anyone who is second or third generation, Polish, Irish, Italian, what their families went through. Sadly, horrific, ugly, all of the above. Some of the things that were being done to them, atrocious. And we know what was happening to people of color back then as well. But for some reason, they knew the greater good, no matter what was happening, even between the North and South, and it was ugly as far as the people of color of this great country who were born here, many of them, into families that had relatives and even parents and grandparents connected to one of the most horrific times in our country's history, slavery. They knew the only way for this country to go in the right direction was to stand side by side. And the thing that I could never figure out, and I truly believe it's one of the reasons why America, the melting pot, is no more. When you were forced into a working environment, say in a steel mill, a coal mine, and you were with people from all walks of life, it's like the old adage, there is no race in a foxhole. I believe on the assembly line in some of the giant steel mills here in western Pennsylvania, in the coal mines in Fayette County or down in West Virginia, people were there shoulder to shoulder doing what they did, backbreaking work, Monday to Sunday, many 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. You spend that much time with someone, you get to know them. You get to understand them. You have empathy for them. You realize what their traditions are and what their histories that they have lived through are. But it's like any other secret sauce, any other recipe. It starts with one ingredient, then it's 2 or 3, and the next thing you know, when you stir, heat, and serve, it's everybody that made it taste so good. You know, it's not that difficult to figure out what we need to do in this country to get back to the country we once were. And I am going to take away, as sad as it was, these 2 deaths in Minnesota as maybe the building block, giving us a chance to do something with the negative. And I think the president coming out and saying, unless these cities ask for our help, no more. No more. But then a judge, on the other hand, to let those law enforcement officers of ICE know, you can do your job, but make sure you have your paperwork in line. And I think what's going to happen if this really works, you're going to have more communicating. You're going to have an opportunity to stop this, but you're also now going to realize that there are people that were protesting and people who were trying to enforce are now working together. And if you're a person in this country and you're not legally in this country and you're doing bodily harm or creating crime or doing whatever that's on the wrong side of the law, you better find a way to get back to the country you came from, even if it means back into a prison where you once were, because you will be thrown out of this country and you will be handed over to authorities, or you may end up behind bars right here in the good old U.S. of A. But I also think what could happen, and if it does, it shows me that there's more to the story. Now that the president has made this statement, now that he has said simply, do not get involved with these protesters unless you are being asked, okay? If the protesters actually tone down, back away, disappear, and are not standing in streets in Minneapolis for days on end and actually going back to some sort of life, then the ice, with all due respect, has been broken. But if they do not, and they continue to shout to the mountaintop, use all kinds of just negative rhetoric, and try to find that pulpit again to be a bully pulpit to get their message out and to discredit members of ICE, then it was a smear campaign from the very beginning. And a smear campaign not just against ICE, but against the President of the United States. And that's one of the reasons why our country has suffered so long, because those same people who I told you about were fighting a war against the country they were born in and they love, but they left for a new opportunity for their family and friends alike. Many of these people today, their children and grandchildren, are the ones that continue to build America. And yes, they remember what it was like when they came to this country, but they did it legally. So your message, if you know those stories and you don't like certain things that are happening, you speak your mind. But what was the other thing that those immigrants who became citizens from the 19th to the 20th century did that we need to have done by all the citizenship of the United States? Not always agree, because that's what you get in this place that gives you freedom of speech, the United States of America. But you have to respect the office of the presidency. And if you're a protester and you've been one of them in the past who've done it, how can you not respect this guy who we all know likes to be the biggest dog on the porch with the biggest bark, the most attention, having the last word? It's either his way or in most cases, no way. Saying simply, I have advised Kristi Noem of the Department of Homeland Security, we do not get involved in any of these situations unless these cities ask for us. To me, if he hasn't, maybe not broke, he has surely bent in a direction that I've never thought I would see. And even hearing Mr. Holman talking about compassion and what he wanted and who they're going after and putting himself out there in Minneapolis, just doing that alone shows me that this administration realizes that 2 lives have been taken and how ugly this is. And they also know what's out there in the rest of the world dealing with people like Putin and others, that we need to get our act straight. All right, one more segment if you want to jump in here in the way of open talk. Next hour, Accurate Solutions, then the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show. 866-391-1020.
When you need to know, depend on the news leader. At home, in your car, or at work. The voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM, AM 1020, and KDKA-radio.com.
Hi, I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, America's largest family law firm. During this time of year, difficult relationships sometimes become impossible. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
Pittsburgh and Cranberry Township. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Think back to the last time you were in nature. What comes to mind? Hiking through a lush forest, floating on a lazy river, or perhaps watching a vibrant sunset on a beach full of glistening plastic bottles and food wrappers. Unfortunately, this isn't a joke. Here in the U.S., we generate the most plastic waste in the world, with 70% of it ending up in landfills. And by the time you're done listening to this ad, more than a dump truck's worth of plastic will have made it into the ocean. Plastic has become a useful part of our everyday lives, but it's polluting the air, water, and soil that all life needs to survive. This is a human problem that can be solved with human action. But it's going to take all of us, from individuals to businesses to governments and everyone in between. Help create a cleaner future for both people and nature. Visit WWF.Earth/plastics.
SchultzFord.com, 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 SchultzFord.com.
The 50,000-watt voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
So I just saw a story trending from CNN to tie in what we were discussing in the last segment, that more Democrats are now starting to register to be able to carry a concealed weapon. They're actually taking up arms. This is not good. That's not the way to approach this. What did I just say? What was I just trying to explain? What was I just trying to navigate, negotiate? About what you have to do to get back on point and to be one country. You know, when did our country become such a checkerboard where you move one way and then you move another way and then you hop over situations that you should stand and face head on? We have avoided each other. We have gone around each other. We have gone over each other. Nobody actually sits and talks. I mean, you've seen some of the interaction between the protesters in Minneapolis and ICE. I mean, they're volatile. They're violent. They're like two sides in a sporting event, leaving their respected sidelines and meeting each other in the middle of a field and just shouting and pointing and screaming and pushing and shoving each other. But no one loses their life there, but they have up there. You would think that the last thing you would want to do is own a gun right now. You know, people say you should always have a gun in your house. And I know there are people who believe in it, and that's your belief. I just do not like guns, never felt comfortable around them, but I understand why people use them from sport and why some use for self-defense. And there are some places that you have to. But more times than not, when you're a gun owner for simply defense or fear for your life, it doesn't usually turn out very good. But what I'm getting at is, you see a person shot, like Renee Good, and then the other gentleman gets killed. Credit, he dies. And you're anywhere near that. You hear the gunfire. You see the body on the ground or in the automobile dead. Why would you want to do anything but get out of there as quickly as you can? And then what really is even more frightening, that there is no filter. And I understand if you're a believer, that's your God-given right. That's what this country is all about. And I just mentioned it moments ago, freedom of speech. But it seems as though it went from just a simmering to a hot flame. I mean, people screaming, tugging, pushing, shoving, punching, saying some of the most horrific things. Literally banging, kicking vehicles with these ICE agents in it, spitting on them. I mean, that's going to lead to nothing but a disaster. That's not going to lead to any good, any debate, any discussion, any final decision. It's only going to ignite a spark that's going to turn into a full-blown fire, a 5-alarm fire, and people will be destroyed. What you don't understand, all of the young people, many children of these protesters, members of ICE, have witnessed this from afar, and their small brains, their minds that are just developing, children, babies, adolescents, trying to understand from the front porch of their home or looking through that giant window and seeing this billowing cloud of smoke of nothing but tear gas and people in riot gear hitting each other, kicking each other, and saying things like, "You murdered my neighbor." That's a war zone. People who grew up in a war zone never heal. That's one of the things that I would talk to my friends' fathers who served in the European theater or the Pacific theater, or later on contemporaries a little older than me who were in Vietnam. You can't imagine, they would all say. You've never seen anything like that here. You don't look out your window where you live and grew up and see people killing each other and mass hysteria and mothers cradling their children, running down the street, people being shot at point blank range. You don't see any of that. You're not in Ukraine seeing entire families being wiped out. You're not. You don't see what the former Venezuelan government did to honest, hardworking people. You don't see some of the things that are happening in the Middle East. Look what's happening in Iran right now. People simply protesting because there's not enough money to eat, and they're being gunned down in the streets, gunned down. And there's new information via satellites that some of these nuclear sites are ramping up again in Iran. And I know people believe the sole reason why that's happening is because, are you ready? Very simple. Because they feel as though they're going to be attacked by Israel. I actually had a person say today on this show that they believe, in their heart of hearts, they believe that the president is trying to make Israel attack Iran. That's ludicrous. Here's a guy that brokered the peace deal. He would never do that. Here's a guy that has actually got Putin stopped from bombing Ukraine for a week. He's got him actually in the midst of giving a promise of stopping any type of combat military intervention by land, by air for a week. And now the third piece of this volatile powder keg that we're sitting on with ICE and the protesters in Minneapolis, the president, after taking a call from Governor Walz, saying it was a good conversation, and then literally days later tells Kristi Noem, no more, get out. And for you Democrats, and I'm one of them, if we do not take this opportunity to at least listen to our commander-in-chief and tell these protesters that we may have ties to in these Democratic cities to step down, back down, walk away, go home, and they do not, or we do not make sure that that message is perfectly clear, we will never have a chance to heal in America. We'll never have a chance to truly become one. We'll never be, again, the United States of America. And the thing that all of you are missing in this conversation, and let me be clear, unless we go back to the blueprint that made America great the first time, and tweak it and add like that extra ingredient, it will never have the flavor that we had growing up. It will never have the sheer joy of these homes full of laughter and creating memories because there was money coming in on a regular basis. And your parents were together because there were no money issues. There were no criminal problems happening in your neighborhood because everybody didn't need to do any criminal activity because they had a paycheck. And why all of you can't see the reason that these cartels and the criminal activity and those who decided to sell drugs and to kill people in America is all because we lost who we were. We lost our way. There was a reason they called it the fabulous 50s, because people were working and they knew what war was like. They didn't want to go back to that. They wanted to enjoy every moment, build a family, and generate and create and make communities what they were supposed to be, all about community, neighbor, helping neighbor. They wanted to go full throttle to better days, prosperity, and keeping every family whole. And since the 80s, we've continued to pluck away at it. And that's one of the reasons why we have what's happening in places like Minneapolis. We have forgotten that it is the United States of America. You being a Democrat or a Republican doesn't matter. You have the right of an opinion and you're privileged to vote. But what does matter? We are citizens of the United States of America. Do not lose sight of that.
The Big K Morning Show with Larry Richards.
Time is now as people want to get their tax situation squared away. It's Cole, Benoni, Wilson.
So many changes. Even the tax professionals were double checking the rules. There's dozens. You know, you're seeing them, like you said, on the federal and state by state adjustments, inflation updates.
Weekday mornings 5:30 to 10 on the Voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
The Village at St. Barnabas, the perfect place for mom.
This is Greg Trzynski of the Original Mattress Factory. Recently, the owner of a large mattress retailer was proudly sharing how over 65% of their queen mattress prices are $15.99 or higher. At the Original Mattress Factory, our focus is a little bit different. We build superior quality mattresses right here in town and do our best to save you as much money as possible. That's why at OMF, nearly 80% of our queen mattresses are lower than those prices others brag about. Stop in or check out originalmattress.com to learn more.
Customers often ask, what's the right mattress for me? At the Original Mattress Factory, our answer is always the same. It's all about personal preference. You should select the one that feels right to you because there isn't a one-mattress-fits-all solution. That's why we offer a selection of quality and comfort choices for every preference. And our sales team will help you find the right product for your specific needs. At the Original Mattress Factory, we have the right mattress for just about everyone. Stop by to find yours today.
Attention Pittsburgh area residents. If you have Medicaid and need help with activities of basic living, Freedom Care can make it easy. With Freedom Care, the person who cares for you can be someone you love, your family, your friend, or a trusted neighbor. They can assist you with meals, bathing, eating, mobility, and more. And Medicaid pays them for your care. You stay in the home you love, surrounded by the people you choose, and it's 100% free to you. Don't wait. Call Freedom Care now. Call 412-674-5196. With Freedom Care, you get the care you need, and your loved one gets paid instantly after every shift. Feel better, heal better, and live better at home with Freedom Care. Call 412-674-5196 or visit freedomcare.com today. That's 412-674-5196. Again, 412-674-5196. 412-674-5196.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 9 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 10 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. With the extreme cold in our area, today the city of Pittsburgh has again activated 5 healthy active living senior centers as warming centers for today. Open right now is the Southside Market House. That's now a warming center for the day. It's at 12th and Bingham Streets on the south side, open until 6:30 this evening. Opening today at 11 a.m. until 6 p.m. are the locations in Beachview, Greenfield, Homewood, and Sheridan. Well, the fire that occurred at the Mather apartment building in Morgan Township, Greene County, was so massive that it destroyed the whole building, and now the building will be demolished. Fire began around 3 o'clock on Saturday morning at the building on 3rd Street. At least 3 people were taken to the hospital. The building had 10 apartment units. Jefferson Morgan School District says monetary donations and gift cards for those who were displaced are being accepted at the Jefferson Fire Hall. Donations are also being accepted at the Greene County Salvation Army. A Washington County man was arrested as part of a 4-month multi-state investigation into drug trafficking. 53-year-old Archie Orson was arrested following a traffic stop on Route 18 in Burgettstown. Police say he had crack cocaine in his possession. The arrest is part of a larger investigation into the distribution and trafficking of heroin, cocaine, and crack cocaine in Jefferson County in Ohio. Also, Mount Pleasant and North Fayette Townships in Washington County and Robinson Township in Allegheny County. Orson is in the Washington County Jail. The actor who was known as the son in the 70s sitcom Sanford and Son has died. Here's CBS News correspondent Peter King.
Sanford and Son came from Norman Lear a year after All in the Family, and like that show, it was a huge hit and made DeMond Wilson a star as Lamont Sanford, Red Fox's long-suffering son and partner in a junk business.
That's another thing I love about you, Pop, the concern that you feel for me. I love you, 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 I love you.
Sanford and Son had a 5-year run. Wilson later wrote several books, including a bittersweet memoir